You can use this to tide you over. Just know that it has like artificial difficulty scaled to power levels.
See, and that's another thing. It's like SD Gundam game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The last one I played was like
getting to wing.
the last one I played was G Genesis, and I thought it was just like okay.
Jake likes it because it's like a tile-based strategy game, and I'm just like, I'm happy for you, but this is killing me right now.
I did not like their specific kind of tile-based strategy game. I just felt was very stiff.
Yeah, it's not like Disgaea, you know?
Wait, hold on. This is good content.
Oh yeah, shit. Okay.
This is
let's
good content.
Right?
Hold on.
Let's record. Okay. Okay.
GC, include
3, 2,
this in
1,
the
go
episode.
clap. Welcome to Burnout Culture, everybody. The industry sucks, and so do we. My name is Kazuma Hashimoto, and I'm the one holding up the podcast from being recorded right now.
My name's GC, and you know, how's it going?
My name's Cullen, and I'm the only one who celebrated 420.
No, Jake smoked a lot of weed today.
Yeah, but time zone different.
Yeah, it's the same day, bro.
I mean, he was smoking it before you.
Yeah, it's not that big of a difference. Y'all experienced the same days at relatively similar times.
No, I'm special.
If Cullen isn't smoking, then it's not 420.
Exactly. Also, Jake is not even here.
He's in the bathroom right now.
Well, but that's not here. Just because Jake want to do a poo poo doesn't mean that I have I made claim first. I came here. I showed up.
I want to buy you a t-shirt, like one of those like really jokey like cliche.
It just says I came first.
No, it's a t-shirt that says if I don't lit up, the day's not started yet.
For real though.
Like
oh, I love that. Yeah, but put Sonic on it, please. Also, Cullen, I'm so glad that shirt came in.
You mean the shirt I'm wearing right now?
Don't know. Yes, for those who don't know, I sent Cullen like this really unhinged Sonic shirt. And I was like, you need this. And then Cullen bought it. And it's fucking insane.
I didn't know who it came from. I don't know anything about the artist. I saw the shirt and immediately I was like, yeah, I need that. And I just bought it.
I didn't think the shirt was like that crazy. And then I noticed that the Sonic was wearing an underwear. And I was like,
I just noticed that.
Sonic's wearing underwear? Hang on.
The text of this shirt is in my dreams, I am in a field of wild horses. That awful blue thing is watching me. He keeps saying he's my father. And in this like trippy ass fucking shirt, like art of these like flying horses is just Sonic standing on like the effigy of a human head. It goes so hard.
See, I'm so glad we started this podcast, not because I think it's brought us closer as friends, but because all of us are just like, I keep sending you these really bizarre, insane shirts, and you actually buy them.
Yeah, like those like Graveyard Goods shirts. I was just like, yeah, I'll buy that.
Yes. Oh my god.
Shit makes me laugh every time.
But yeah, so basically, everyone, we haven't recorded because I've actually been in Germany visiting Jake. I surprised him for his birthday. He had no idea. I walked up to the door. I said a package was coming, and I like rang the door, and I was like, post, which is what you do when like you're like the postman and they let you upstairs. He had his head craned out of the door. He saw me and immediately began bawling.
Oh.
So, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. I love a good feel-good story.
Yeah, that's the only feel-good story we got on this podcast today.
Actually, I got some pretty good opinions about games this week.
Yeah, me too, actually. I think this is going to be a not super negative podcast because I've been experiencing really good games too.
I'll be holding the weight up on this. Don't worry. I'll be the negative Nancy.
How was Ghost in the Shell, Cullen?
That was fine. It was quite good.
Okay.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed it.
And then I watched Ghost in the Shell 2 and I enjoyed that as well.
Oh, like the old movies, right? Yeah. Okay.
I had the 4K lying around for Ghost in the Shell, and then I saw it was only an hour and 20. And last night it was like 1 a.m, and I'm like, well, it's a Saturday, and it's technically 420, so that would be a fun way to do a 420.
I think it's cool that the Major has 2 girlfriends.
That might be
Yeah.
in something else. Oh no, that's in the manga.
Major has 2 girlfriends.
I wish she had 2
ignores them to
girlfriends in the
watch the
movie.
news.
In the movie, they kind of just do their own thing.
Yeah.
It's good though. I don't like Ghost in the Shell is weird. Ghost in the Shell is one of those movies you kind of just like when you're watching, you just feel like you suck it in through like a straw and you're like, oh, beverage. I can't describe it. It's like it's a very like philosophical, like both of them are very like philosophical, but like if you asked me to tell you what the plots were, I'd be like, well, I don't care about those anyway. But it would be a bit hard to do because it's a lot of people just kind of talking, which I like. I like movies like that. That's the kind of stuff I gravitate towards. It's just kind of people like just talking about their ideals, and then you get a bunch of really beautiful cyberpunk city shots, and you're just like, ooh. I don't know. I'll probably watch Standalone Complex or whatever. That seems like it would be.
Standalone Complex is actually good.
Yeah.
But after that, then it like drastically goes downhill.
How much left is there?
There's like one that like Kushnov Ilya or whatever designed for, and that one's known to be pretty fucking dog shit. I think there's like a couple of other ones too that just like aren't all that great. Basically Standalone Complex, and then that's where you end.
Okay. Yeah, it's like let's see, Standalone Complex. Oh, I think Standalone Complex aired before Ghost in the Shell 2. That's interesting. But I think from what I've heard, it's kind of just its own thing.
Yes, it is.
Which excites me. I like when they when you have like a really strong foundation and then instead of just making a sequel to that, which it did, by the way, it kind of just like, hey, what if we like use this framework to just tell a different story? Which, setting up for GC, if this is part of GC's topic list, I will look now and make sure. Technically, it is GC and I and a group just finished watching Tenchi Universe.
Tenchi Muyo.
Specifically, the universe continuity, which is.
Oh, we haven't talked about any of it on podcast, have we?
Oh, none of it. All so right. You are on the hook to talk about it all.
Cool. Oh, do you want me to lead it?
I mean, you wrote it. I can chime in for the bits.
You wrote Tenchi Universe, GC? Crazy.
I know, right? Can't escape it.
I know. I'm the one that wrote the love triangle between a space pirate. Actually, oh wow. Yeah. No, it's got pirates, it's got space in it. It's got like
princesses.
It's got princesses. Yeah, that's like, all of my 3 favorites.
I'm glad you stopped. I'm glad you stopped after Universe, because I
kept going for a little bit.
I wouldn't admit that personally, but
Tenchi, I haven't seen Tenchi in Tokyo yet.
You watched an episode, you thought it was fine. I don't know what happened. We finished our my rewatch, which was just showing it to a group, and I was like taken over by a spirit of like a needy, yearnful spirit, and then I just started buying as much Tenchi as I could. I bought In Tokyo, I bought War of the Geminar, I bought this fucking piece of dog shit called I Tenchi Muyo.
You bought a cell.
I bought an animation cell. I bought a laser disc of Tenchi in Forever 2. Oh, Tenchi in Love 2, also known as Tenchi Forever. I have, I think I said War on the Geminar already. I bought that for like $15 on Amazon like a couple days ago. Kind of killer deal. I have the original OVAs, at least the first Blu-ray of those. I don't know. It's just like I found this thing that basically is completely unrepresented in like popular anime like fandom or whatever. And it's just like it sounds weird, but it's like I could kind of like just make this mine. I could just
because it's so old, right? Like it's barren.
Exactly.
Everyone's left. So now for this little this little corner belongs to you.
Yeah.
You're playing by yourself with your Barbies, but you're happy.
Exactly. And it's great because all of the like the 2020, the 2000s Tenchi stuff is kind of more or less bad. So the fans are just kind of done.
You can say bad.
Like, well, I think there's some stuff in there that some fans do like. Like, it's not all shit, but I think in the current state with the way the OVA is wrapped up and like no one's happy with those, everyone's just kind of done talking about Tenchi. So I don't have to like go into this fandom of a bunch of people spoiling a bunch of things or making my viewing experience terrible. You're like going in to this popular cafe on an off season and you're just like, oh, yeah, it's kind of nice in here. Yeah, can I get the espresso tonic? And they're like,
yes, you can.
Sure, here you go. And you sip on it and you're just like,
Would you like a real coffee now? I'm playing. I'm kidding. Yeah. It was low hanging fruit.
I'd be like, you're very rude. I'm not tipping. I
always tip.
Not if if your barista was like, oh, you little bitch, you want some real coffee?
No one called you a little bitch. You imagined that.
Well, I'm yes-anding, if you must know. Fucking no respect for the craft of improv on this podcast. Like, oh, little baby done having some fake coffee.
That's not yes-anding, that is rewriting.
Ooh. Like,
Cullen can reinterpret the events in his mind as long as he wants, just as he can reinterpret anything in Tenchi Muyo, and no one will stop him because no one's engaged with it.
Exactly. And then I go, I'm not returning to this establishment. I'm making espresso at home instead.
Tenchi Universe was really good. For people that don't know, Tenchi Muyo was an OVA that came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah, early 90s.
Yes.
And it is credited or considered one of the earliest examples of what you may know now as the harem genre of anime. However, I believe the harem genre of anime looked at Tenchi Muyo and took all of the wrong lessons from it.
Yes.
Because Tenchi Universe, the version of there's like different versions of the Tenchi Muyo franchise, and they basically like retell the story, the general premise over and over again, and continuity is kind of all over the place. Like some Tenchi stuff is related, some stuff isn't. But the actual like thing of Tenchi Universe is like, yeah, you have like all the components of like, you have like one guy surrounded by a bunch of like women characters or whatever. But in Tenchi Universe, at the very least, or actually pretty much like at the core of like the Tenchi Muyo identity seems from like other stuff that we've seen or that I've looked at a little bit. It's like what you have is like a love triangle between like three people. And it's not even like that, like it's not really played
up. It's pretty
up.
One-sided.
It's pretty one-sided, yeah. And the other women in the story are literally just part of what it becomes a story of found family. Even the love triangle in and of itself is like a story of found family because they all kind of like
girlfriends.
Yeah, like they all kind of like get along and they all kind of live together and like they become such an inseparable part of each other's lives that they feel empty without each other. And like, it's really weird to have seen Tenchi Universe be a story that's just about that. And it goes places, but like, it's largely just a story about people like finding a home amongst each other. And then to see what comes after is really bizarre because it's like, how do you watch this and go, oh yeah, what we needed, what this show was all about was T and A and also girls fawning over a man all the time.
I will say the OVAs are a bit more harem-y.
Sure.
Where all the like even like at the beginning, because Tenchi Universe, which I believe in Japan is just called Tenchi Muyo TV. The localized name is Universe, but it's just kind of a banger title.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just always call it Universe. But the first 6 episodes of the OVA are kind of like the template for Tenchi Universe, where they said, okay, so we have like the, you know, romantic comedy and like all these girls really want, you know, they really want Tenchi. But let's maybe just focus on the comedy stuff and let's like narrow this down from a whole harem of just these 2 girls really like him and all these other girls are just kind of living in his house. Which it works. Like, you might be able to think that this was like a compromise of the original ideal of like, or like conceit of the show, but it kind of just becomes Tenchi focused on some really good, like wholesome elements while still like knowing when to be a silly fucking like rom-com.
Yeah.
It is 26 episodes long. It is just a comfy ass show. It is something that I have realized that I think I might be able to just put this on every year, like the show, maybe in the background or something. Because by the way, the dub is iconic.
Yeah,
it's so good,
the
right?
dub is perfect. If you grew up with anime in the maybe 2000s, it might take some getting used to, but like I recommend watching with the dub and just letting yourself get like just take in all these like weird quirky voices. Like, yeah, Tenchi's dad sounds like Homer Simpson, but he's just kind of like that.
Hey, Tenchi.
Tenchi.
It's like watching Outlaw Star with the English dub, which I also think is really fun.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. If it wasn't like if it was just trying to be a wholly like serious show, maybe those like dub voices might feel a bit weird, but it is first and foremost like a comedy. Like Tenchi Universe, before it gets into anything else and where that continuity goes, is just a comedy.
It's a slice of life comedy.
Yeah, it's a slice of life comedy. And what's really great is as you see these voice actors work through Tenchi Universe, they get used to their characters a bit more and they build the kind of acting chops needed from where Universe ends up going, like emotionally later on. It's good. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Continue, GC, about your Tenchi journey.
About the acting, it's also very impressive that like the voice actor for Ayeka, who is doing like a Minnie Mouse voice in Tenchi Universe for the character, it is very impressive that actor is like, she not only does she do that Minnie Mouse voice for like the sake of comedy, because the show starts out as like a comedy bit, but as you watch her in that role and you know, we get to later on in that continuity at the very least, where there's like more emotional or like, you know, dramatic moments, you watch her like still use that voice and find a place to still like convey a great range of emotions in it. And it's like you're listening to, like I was listening to it and I was like, I can't believe she's like getting across sadness in a voice for Minnie Mouse. It's really good.
It's a fun way as well to kind of adapt the Ojo-sama like trope into English. It's probably the best way I've ever seen that done in a dub.
Yeah, instead of like having like a sultry or husky voiced character where she sounds like very above you, it's more of like a snooty kind of like preppy like kind of person, which I think is actually closer to the Ojo-sama bit than the other stuff, but
which is crazy because it's a 90s dub and they were trying to be like, yeah, no, we're not gonna like rewrite some of this shit. Like fucking putting a pin in this. I watched the Digimon the movie yesterday. Fucking trash. Fucking garbage. Like Haim Saban, if I find you, you're gonna.
Oh my
God. You don't like Anaconda. Anaconda doesn't like that girl whose name I keep forgetting.
I definitely understand the reclamation of Digimon the movie as its own like special important cultural keystone. But like also Haim Saban, it's on site.
I think because like I mean like I like Digimon the movie, but I also understand it's like two things pushed into one because it needed to be, and I loathe everything about it while still enjoying it at the same time. I have really weird feelings about
I
Digimon the movie.
want to show you the third movie of those OVAs that got murdered to add on 30 extra minutes to make it feature length so they could put it in theaters and sell tickets. It is
No, I've seen like all of that, like the original stuff.
You've seen Hurricane
because
Touchdown?
I actually really like. Yes, I actually really like Digimon.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty fucking ride or die for Digimon when I was a kid. But yeah, it's that fucking.
I love Tai.
Because I watched because my friend came over to show me these, and we put on the American version of Our War Game, which is just like a Quirk Chungus punched up script kind of version of it, which it cuts some things out, but it's like you're getting Our War Game presented like without change. And then you get to the O2 stuff, which is just tacked on at the end. And they take this 60-minute, really like quiet, vibed out, contemplative movie, which has a lot to do with like the fear of change and growing old and not being able to recapture the joy of youth, told in this like really interesting like movie for kids. And they like cut basically half or like 40 minutes of this movie and just fill it with a bunch of garbage.
Into a movie for American children.
Yeah. Well, it's not even again, it's like taking the 60 minutes and cutting it down to like 20 and just slapping it on the end of this other thing and be like, no, it's a sequel or something. So let's talk about Tenchi again. I'm getting mad. Digimon the movie fucking sucks.
So after Tenchi, we watched Tenchi Universe. I really liked Tenchi Universe. I did watch that entire show for a while. I watched it with like a sense of dread because when you tell me, oh, this is like the progenitor to, sorry, that's this is the origin point of like harem anime. You know, I start.
Wait, did Love Hina or Tenchi Muyo happen first?
I can't remember. It's got to be one or I think it's like pretty close, isn't it?
I don't know anything about Love Hina, but I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, Love Hina is also considered one of the most like formative harem.
Love Hina is 1998.
You ever had you ever had like you ever seen like a lady character punch a guy character out of a roof of a house in an anime? Love Hina did that first.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I don't care for Love Hina.
Yeah, I don't either. So like Tenchi Universe, I always had that dread of like, okay, this is gonna do the thing, and we all know what the thing is. I don't need to explain what the thing is, but like, you know it. You're watching something and you're like, oh, this is like where all this other stuff got this stuff from. Okay, so at what point do we do this to this character that we probably shouldn't do it to? Never happens. Tenchi Universe goes the entire runtime, every episode, without doing things that I was dreading it might do. And I was like, oh, no, this is actually just like a sweet little story about all these people finding each other and stuff. And like, it doesn't really focus that hard on the romance either. Like it definitely like has the romance as a part of its like ongoing story. But for the most part, it's like you're kind of subtly learning why these people are here. And some of them want to be there. Some of them don't necessarily want to be there. Some of them don't want to leave. Some of them, you know, don't really like have anywhere else to go or whatever. And like, it's just very strong storytelling. And then after Universe, part of the Universe continuity are at the very least two movies. That's Tenchi in Love and Tenchi in Love 2, also known as Tenchi Forever, right?
Yep, that is it. And so when you get to Tenchi in Love, both of them are kind of honing in on specific things that Universe kind of just drives by for like, you know, the purposes of its pace.
I would argue that both movies distill different elements of the series. So yes, like the series is
that's
like,
what I'm trying to convey.
Yeah, the series is slice of life and drama. One movie is
action drama.
Yeah.
And the other is more like, okay, let's address the romance stuff.
Yeah.
But so it's very interesting, like these two movies, because they are like, the first one really is like, if you were to say, all right, we got to make a Tenchi movie, like a Tenchi Universe movie. Well, we ended this with some wacky lightsaber fights and space powers and battling, and so let's kind of like, let's just do a little action movie. Let's do your usual, like, our anime was popular enough to get a movie, so we're having our fun little bits, and we're having some cool fight scenes, and it's very like, I would not say Tenchi in Love 1 is like a challenging movie by any means. It just like, it goes down good. I don't like, what did you think of Tenchi in Love?
I was quite surprised that Tenchi in Love is beat for beat the season of the show, in terms of like pacing. So like the movie, just like the show, begins with, you know, an inciting event, which is how stories go, but like it's very slice of life. It's very like focused on like silly comedy bits at the start. And then as the movie goes on, just like the show, they start introducing more and more dramatic elements. And then it culminates in a sci-fi action conclusion. It's actually like blocked very similarly to the show, which is appropriate for this kind of movie where it's like, oh, we made
like a
money.
long episode.
Yeah. And I quite like the story. The synopsis is a bad guy breaks out of space prison, goes back in time to kill Tenchi's mom for reasons I won't go into.
I don't even think there are reasons, dude.
Yeah, there is.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there is. It's the if I say it, I spoil. Like,
it's not even really like, there's not much to spoil. Well, okay, that I get what you mean by that.
Yeah,
then.
like so guy breaks out of space prison. He goes to kill Tenchi's mom. He goes back in time to kill Tenchi's mom. Tenchi and the crew go back in time to find him and stop him from doing that.
All the while, like, forming their own little fun bonds with like Tenchi's mom and seeing Tenchi's dad as a tiny little blurbo male.
Yeah, it's also very cleverly. You do point out, we haven't pointed this out, but at some point the voice cast gets reshuffled. Some people retain their roles, other people leave the production and are replaced. Tenchi's dad is one of them, and I don't know if you noticed this, but Tenchi's dad gets replaced in that movie. And the way they justify it is, when you go back in time, he doesn't sound like Homer Simpson. So they kind of like trick your brain into not identifying his dad's voice with that character. And now when we see him again as he's older, he has a different voice now. So in that movie, they kind of like rewire your perspective of that character to not feel weird that he sounds different. And now in my head, I'm like, the reason he sounds different in Tenchi in Tokyo is because when they went back in time, they fucked up his voice. They fixed his voice problem. So he doesn't sound like Homer Simpson. Yeah, the butterfly effect
of Tenchi in Love creates a splinter universe where everything's bad.
So Tenchi in Love, the first movie, is very good. As far as like, you know, being a movie of a series that almost didn't happen because the OVA was very short, and like, from what I remember, it was like Tenchi Muyo is one of those weird things where it was like, it wasn't exactly flash in the pan. It was just a big enough flash to continue getting stuff made for a while. And that's why they seemingly just like do like, they don't point it out, but it's kind of like that's why there's so many continuities, because they're kind of just doing it again because like they want it to catch on in a specific way, and they just never seem to like do that.
It feels like I know this might sound insulting, so I don't entirely mean it, but it's like, it almost seems like it's made by a creative team with severe ADHD, where there's like, all right, cool, let's try that, like this genre now.
Yeah.
Let's try a cop drama now. Let's try Evangelion ripoff or parody now. Let's try this. What about this? What about that?
It's
What about
very
Monster
much
of the Week?
it's very much person tries to make the same movie over and over again until they get it right, which usually is like a derogatory thing. But like in this case, I mean it affectionately because like every time they do it, they actually go in pretty different directions with it. So it's like it's almost kind of like an anthology series of just like the same characters in different things. So it's cool that way.
Also worth mentioning, Tenchi Universe, cool. Tenchi Universe and the In Love movies are all directed by the same guy, and he did not. I'm pretty sure he did not work on the OVAs or any of the other Tenchi bits.
Yeah,
he basically
he's
just came on
in that.
Did Universe, left, and then came back for Tenchi Muyo, which hurts my brain.
Yeah,
that hurts my brain. I don't get it. But anyway,
I wonder if given what we know about Tenchi Muyo, I wonder if he was more restricted by whoever he was working for when he came back to do that.
The city of like Okayama.
Oh, that's right. It was a tourism. That's right. It was a tourism thing.
Fucking so the series is the 6th installment of the Tenchi Muyo franchise and is sponsored by the city of Takahashi, Okayama in order to promote tourism for the city.
Yeah.
I love it.
That would not work on me.
I love it when the tourism board stifles your creativity because come to my city, please.
Come to my city. We're famous for the 5-minute Tenchi Muyo episodes that are all bad.
So, Tenchi in Love, good movie. Very structured similarly to the show, but I honestly think the animation in it is really good.
Oh,
I think it's well written. I think it's paced pretty good. Like if you had told me this was just like its own thing by itself, you could kind of just watch that movie. Like it's weird to say because there's so much like background information that you would need, but they do such a good job telling a fun story that it's like I can just trick my brain into thinking this is in media res and like be fine. Great movie. I don't want to call it like a TV special sort of movie because I actually do think it's a little bit more elevated than that. I do think it's like it is very much gorgeous, like directed like a film too. Yeah, it was great. And then we watched Tenchi Forever, Tenchi in Love 2. I don't know if you want to start or if you want me to start, and then
I think while we both like the movie,
yes,
I am a bit more passionate about it than you are, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Not every bit of art is going to hit everyone the same. And it's very hard to have a leveled debate with someone on this kind of thing when you watch a movie that is essentially this was made in a lab for me in particular. But that doesn't mean I'm trying to like say you're wrong or anything.
No,
but
I know.
Yeah. So
we're good.
Tenchi Forever is this movie that kind of came out of nowhere. I guess both for the series and me, that I think it's crazy that this movie isn't talked about more. Tenchi Forever is a complete tonal like change on anything this series had done up till now. Like the series always threatens to like get a bit serious at points. They always kind of play with these heavier ideas here and there, but you know, for the most part, it's trying to be fun. It's trying to show you the wacky girl hijinks and fun space adventures.
So, Tenchi in Love 2 is sort of the flip side of Tenchi in Love 1. It is a story that is remarkably somber. The mood of the whole thing is very somber, very like melancholy, I would say. And there's like a permeating sadness throughout the movie, which is very good. I want to say we were saying this at the beginning before I ran into my computer issue. I actually do like this movie. So in pro wrestling, there's an expression called getting over with the crowd, right? When a wrestler like earns like the ire or the respect or like the celebration of the crowd, right? Like if a heel is like really bad, like super bad, and like people are booing him for being a heel, you know, he's getting over with the crowd, right? Like
John Cena.
he's succeeded, you know. When I think John Cena turned heel recently, actually.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But when like a
And he made
face,
children cry. Like children were literally crying in the crowd.
perfect. That they gotta learn. When like
These were dying children, by the way. They were Make-A-Wish kids.
oh,
They didn't make the wish hard enough.
well, you know, that's the drama of pro wrestling. They love that shit. Anyway, when John Cena, the face, you know, like when like the hero wrestler, right, the good guy wrestler, when the crowd like cheers him on and is like fucking chanting his name, you know, when people lose their minds, he's gotten over with them, right? Like he's basically like given the audience what they were like. The audience likes what's going on, right? Tenchi in Love 2 is a remarkable movie. It is, the cinematography is excellent. The acting is phenomenal. The writing is great. It is a very good story about love. It is about relationships. It is very dynamic in the way that it talks about those concepts. Mainly, or at least what stood out to me is the concept of like a relationship that just isn't working.
For a just premise kind of thing, just to give people context.
Yeah.
What starts as like a typical like, oh, Tenchi's out with the girls working at the shrine and they're all trying to pick up and all the girls start bickering again. And Tenchi kind of, well, also they're like, Tenchi, you got to fucking decide already, buddy. Like you got to make up your mind. And he runs away and he disappears. Like Tenchi's gone for 6 months and no one can find him.
Yes.
And then they get like a rumor or something, or like a vibe that he's in Tokyo now. So they go there and Tenchi is a couple years older and living a college life with like a girlfriend who we have never seen before.
Yes.
And the whole movie is about this relationship and like Ryoko and Ayaka, you know, the two girls from his love triangle, like just trying to get to him because they can't seem to like reach out to him for, you know, sci-fi reasons. But so the whole movie is just Tenchi and this new girl we don't know.
Yes.
And basically seeing this relationship of theirs that while like it seems like it would be like perfect and ideal, slowly kind of just falls apart as you realize it's just not working out. And that's the whole movie.
Yeah. And I actually quite enjoyed that angle to the movie. And I was surprised that like they went in this direction because you don't expect when you watch Tenchi Universe, if I told you, hey, they do a movie with these characters where like two of them are incredibly depressed and they talk about their feelings with each other and they like sort of bond over their shared like misery, like they commiserate about like where things have gone and the potential that, you know, the person that they like and have been fighting over has like moved on from them and like
doesn't care about them.
Yeah, doesn't want to like deal with them anymore and stuff like that.
Or yeah, like that they might have caused this.
Yeah, that they might have pushed him away. And if I told you that, you'd be like, there's no fucking way. The funny space pirate has like a fucking soliloquy about being left alone and like being rejected. No fucking way. And it's like, oh yeah, and then like the space princess has like, you know, a really emotionally devastating reflection of her behavior. No fucking way. It's like, no, yeah, that all happened.
She like is forced to work as a waitress.
Yeah.
A 9-to-5, like this fucking space royalty just to go like find this guy she likes, has to go live in a shitty apartment and work a 9-to-5 and has a fucking emotional breakdown.
And I quite like that the movie went in this direction, and I think it's very effective. For personal reasons, I don't think the movie. I think the movie really presents sort of like this aspect of like a relationship that's just kind of fizzling out. It's like everyone's happy in it, like people are content, but over time it's just like whatever they had is sort of like dwindling, and there's other reasons for it, but they kind of sort of go into it where it's like these two people are not like one of them, like the relationship is like very much asymmetrical, and like one of them is trying to make it work and the other one isn't, like the other one just isn't interested, or like they're frustrated by the situation and stuff like that. And it's really like powerful. I'm not going to say that the movie is not effective, but I was hoping for the movie to sort of how do I say this? Like, I think the movie presents that sort of thing very well visually, but I don't think it really talks about it as much as I wanted it to. Where like we, because it's a Tenchi movie, this movie almost feels like it was written with these characters in mind, but like because it's a Tenchi thing, they felt the need to remind people that it was a Tenchi thing. And so a lot of the movie, or not a lot, but like a good amount of the movie that could have been used to further explore this like dwindling sort of like past the honeymoon phase relationship Tenchi is having. Instead of like giving us more of that and better framing that and like having moments where they could talk about like, how those relationships end up that way, or talking about like, the things that cause that sort of thing to happen. We sort of instead get a lot of like, it's not like slapstick, but we get a lot of moments of like reminding people that this is a Tenchi movie and that this takes place in a universe where like there's like sci-fi stuff and people are doing sci-fi things. And I think that takes away from the power of the movie, because I think if I had gotten less scenes of Ayeka and Ryoko chasing after Tenchi down a hallway and Tenchi disappearing, because we got like 3 or 4 of those little chase scenes. And I was like, instead of that, if we had just gotten more of Tenchi's relationship with this like mystery woman and sort of showcasing that he's like not really into it, or that he's not really sure why he's in the relationship with her, or like, more moments of him sort of like doubting what he's doing in that moment, I think the movie would have like really cemented itself for me. I felt like the movie was speaking to me, but it didn't speak true to like what I was feeling. Like it.
That's fair.
Hang on a second. There's a cat under me. Saijima, stop it.
That's fine. We don't hear him.
No, I mean, I have to like tell him to stop. Okay, there we go.
You're good.
Okay.
So like,
Sorry.
like I felt like the movie sort of knew that I was going through something, which I'm not, but like as a like relation to like how I like my own experiences and stuff. I felt like the movie had seen me, but it didn't necessarily like confirm what I was feeling. Cause like usually I watch movies or I watch media, right? And sometimes, not all the time, but like sometimes when it's like talking about something that I have personal experience with, or that, is something that I care about strongly, I want it to not necessarily validate me, but I want it to talk about it in a meaningful way, like a deeper way.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I felt seen, but I didn't feel like they were.
It was talking to someone else.
Yeah, but or rather like it acknowledged that this sort of thing happens, right? It acknowledged this like concept of like this like sort of type of relationship, but it did not go into sort of like describing it as much as I would have liked. It didn't go into like talking about like how that happens. Like it didn't go into the nuance of that, or like have like something personal itself to say. And I feel like they should have gone harder on that, as opposed to sort of adhering to the Tenchi identity so to speak.
I definitely see where you're coming from on that. I personally do like that it is not ashamed to admit it is still a Tenchi like movie.
No, yeah. Let me rephrase it. If they had given me an extra 15 minutes,
I would not say no to like, that's the thing. This is an hour and a half movie. It's very fast paced.
Yeah.
But it does like linger, which I really like. I would not say more like no to more movie.
I would have loved 135 minutes.
I could have sat there for like 2 hours minimum watching what this movie does over a long period of time, and I would have had no complaints.
Yeah.
So that's why like I'm not like here say like I don't necessarily disagree or like think you're wrong for this. It's just I think when I watch it, I go like, wow, this is almost like them flexing that just like they're like, yeah, we're Tenchi, we can do this.
Yeah, it is them flexing the range of like the thing they've made.
Because Universe has so like much exactly that range. Like they are able to do so much kind of with what they established. And I think on second viewing, I because I never really had any issues on my first viewing. As soon as I watched this thing, it like fucking rewrote my brain chemicals. But like I think I do find some appreciation in the fact that like the way they utilize the supporting cast, like, you know, all the other girls. I do think, especially because this was made to be the send-off movie, they like it's a bit of a balancing act between saying like, okay, we want to talk about this new thing, but also we do kind of have to wrap up these character stories for this like main trio. And like, you know, we got to have the girls in. I will say though, I would not cut a single one of the Ryoko Ayaka scenes in the middle because I like them just living.
Yeah.
Like even if some of them have like the weird chase scenes, it's still like I like these girls and I like them doing their job. And I think that is a crucial part of the movie. But like I guess either maybe they couldn't make any more than that, or maybe like that's just the movie they wanted to make. But that like, yeah, that hour 30, I would not say no to 10 extra minutes of just more of this relationship. But I think it is the way I kind of viewed this romance between you know, Tenchi and Haruna or Haruka, I kind of forget. Hanada, yeah. Between Tenchi and Haruna, like I think the amount that they show for this, it is, and this is a bit of like the danger of making a movie like this. They don't speak on it too much. They very much want you to have the conversation with yourself about this. And you do risk alienating some people with this approach. In a way, they're kind of like, they're speaking even more focusedly to a very specific kind of person at the risk of others being like, but you didn't do enough with this. So I actually really appreciated how little the movie has to like, well, not has to say, but like actually speaks outwardly on these relationships. It felt very like poignant to me, given my own like romantic history.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a bit hard for me because in my mind I go like, I wouldn't change a damn thing. It fucking perfectly got everything I was thinking about. And I typically do think about love and romance, and like seeing that kind of part of a relationship, it is like it's a really scary thing. And I kind of like how there's almost like there's no real words to describe that kind of thing.
Right.
So often, but I super get it. Like,
it's not that it didn't talk about stuff. I wish it had talked more. I literally wish it had really like sunken into that concept. I think it touched on it, and I think it largely used it to tell a compelling story, but I wish it had more to say about what it was talking about.
No, and I get it.
Yeah.
I think with me, it's just like the way, specifically like the presentation of this movie, the way it kind of uses its like music and visuals to do a lot of the like actual talking in this has me kind of settle on, I like how like, again, how this movie doesn't really want to talk about it. Like, it wants you to like talk to yourself about it. And or like love and romance. And it's a approach that I do not think will work for everyone. Like, at least as much, but I tend to really like movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just my kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, yeah, I don't know. I immediately started writing a script on it, and I want to make a video about it, because it's just like, I gotta like somehow get out onto words what exactly this movie did to me. Fucking, I don't know. It's a really cool ass movie. And I think a lot of my appreciation as well is because I also look at movies like this in terms of like the production or the intent. And I just think it's wild that you end your like comedy, like your rom-com series with like this French cinema inspired like romantic drama.
Now that's a little much. That's a little much there.
What?
I think saying it's inspired by French cinema is a little much.
You gotta watch the movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch the movie.
It's like,
I am not gonna go out. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that a harem anime movie, comparing it to French cinema, is a little much.
I think it's,
you gotta watch the movie.
I think it's definitely like trying to do that.
That's why I said inspired.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Black Flag, but the artist should also pitch in on that, because he did all the naval combat for me, because I'm fucking dog shit at it.
Yeah, bring him in.
Yeah, just come here. He's moving over now.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to talk about it. I didn't even, oh my god, I didn't prepare a speech or
Special
anything. You know? I didn't write
guest.
nothing down. I'm just yar. No, I did a lot of the naval combat because I love ships and boats and everything that floats on the ocean. Even what's the English word? Buoy.
The buoy?
The buoy, the very hard word for me. Even that I love. I love all of these. Oh my god, I don't really care about Assassin's Creed all that much. Most of the time I watch from afar and think it's cringe, which is pretty mean, but I don't hate anyone who loves it. It's a cool series. I love the concept. Loved the first couple of games, and then it lost me, but Black Flag, oh my god, it's so good. Like, the characters are cool, the story's good, the music's chill as fuck, and the ship combat is like the best thing ever. Like, Sea of Thieves is fun, but oh my god, the combat in Black Flag is like, it's so
It's
like,
weighty.
while it's fast and like it's fast, but it's also, it still feels like you're steering a ship, as far as I can comment on that. I've never steered a real ship, but like, I don't know, I love it so much.
There's a
It
good
has, like,
balance with the sailing controls of being like realistic but also arcadey, because it's Assassin's Creed and they know it's like, you know, these people want to have fun. Make some fun ass boat combat.
Yeah,
But Black
it's
Flag
so
is
good.
like
Like, the
heavy.
first,
Like the boats in Black Flag
yeah,
are like
it's
heavy,
heavy.
and like when you hit a wave in Black Flag, like your boat actually hits resistance.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. And like, at first it was like, oh, you're like attacking a small ship, and then there's like bigger ones, and they want to bully you then because you're just a little pirate. But now that I understand how to move, now that I'm one with the ocean, with the winds even aligned, I'm like just like ollying through like 3 different, what are they called? Frigates? Frigates?
Barges?
A frigate?
A frigate?
A frigate. Spigot, the scrungy spigot. I don't know. I'm just, it's fun. It's like, I love I love it. I love being a pirate. I think we need more pirate games. Where are the pirate
Agreed.
games? We need more pirate games. And when are there more pirate games?
I also want to say Black Flag, I thought, okay, personally, a lot of people liked it. And so my opinion of it was going to be like, this is probably really overrated
I
in
thought
terms
so
of like a
too.
game.
Yeah.
But no, Black Flag literally made me fucking eat my fucking words. And I think it's a really good game, like overall,
It's not
in terms of
overrated.
like how it controls the ship combat and everything. Like you mentioned, GC, having like the resistance with the waves, like actually having to sail into the waves to stop yourselves from capsizing during a storm. Pretty fun, involved mechanic. I like Edward a lot, and I think all Assassin's Creed protagonists could benefit from having 4 like pistols on them at all times.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's kind of my opinion. I think he's like the coolest assassin because he has 4 pistols, and it feels really rewarding to get those shots off, like when you're boarding a ship, even if like reloading them is not exactly graceful and you can eat shit pretty fast.
They are a problem solver, but then they become a problem if you use them to solve problems too much. It's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, Black Flag is really good. We just got to the Assassin Island.
We haven't even started. Like there are like sunken ships, and I think you can dive down there,
Yes.
but we haven't even unlocked that yet. Like
oh, you don't even
we're
have the
just
diving cage yet? Damn.
No,
No.
we
There's a
chilling,
diving
bro.
cage?
Like
Yeah, there's
brother,
a
we are
you
chilling.
You go
They-
underwater? I never got that far.
yeah, so in Black Flag there's a mechanic. It's very funny. It's like the world's first diving cage. So it's not really like a cage, it's a big barrel, right? And they throw it down hard enough into the water while you're inside it that it creates an air pocket that you can use to go deeper down. And then you swim out from under the barrel while you're on the ocean floor, basically. And that's
Which
how
totally
you
wouldn't
dive.
destroy your ears with pressure.
What happened?
Which totally wouldn't destroy your ears with the pressure alone.
Oh
but
yeah, it'll mess you up. But yeah, that's how you like swim underwater and like go to stuff with the big barrel.
Yeah.
And then they pull your ass
Yeah, we-
back up.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten that yet. I was hunting some whales, which, you know,
I don't like the whales are beautiful, and I think throwing harpoons into them is really messed up. Actually,
I also got the Ralph Innocent jump scare. I didn't know he was in this game.
Ralph Innocent. What Ralph Innocent? Who's
Is
that?
that
Sid
is that
from Final Fantasy?
Sid Final
Yeah,
Fantasy?
Yeah.
I guess pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. He's in the game. He just appeared and I was like, "Oh my god, Ralph Innocent's in this?"
Who is he?
But he is. I couldn't tell you from the way the man looked. It wasn't Blackbeard.
can we call him Brownbeard because he had a brown beard?
I don't think that narrows it down,
It's that
baby.
guy with
I don't
the.
think that's his name either. But
Or are you asking
he's
who Ralph
Charles,
Innocent
he's
is?
Charles Vane.
Oh,
Ah, okay. I know who it is.
yeah, we just met that guy. Like we're really playing slowly because most of the time when I'm playing, I'm literally just like on the ocean, like destroying other ships for fun. I'm like, oh hey, what's up? You're twice my size. Let's go.
And because I'm like pretty allergic to the ship combat for some reason,
Yeah.
like I'm mostly just on islands like finding things and getting the synchronization points.
Like Spider Monkey.
Yeah, or I'm just like, I want to play Syndicate right now
No.
because there's not a ship in it. But Black Flag, even though I don't like the sailing in it, I think it's a really good game. And from what I've experienced so far, Edward is actually a really interesting character. I remember you saying, GC, that like, it was either you or Lori saying that like Edward is extremely self-serving and that's what makes him a good character, and I totally agree. Because in that flashback where his wife's like, I will leave you if you become a pirate.
Dude.
And he's like, I'm gonna go become a pirate.
He's a complete asshole, but I love him.
He's great. Edward's selfishness is very good because a lot of stories will take a selfish character and be like, look, his selfishness is his undoing, or look, his selfishness is the only reason he has anything. And it's like, no, his selfishness is like, Edward's selfishness is the reason for everything good and everything bad that has ever happened to Edward Kenway. And it creates a complexity because it depends on what ends up happening is that instead of him just being like a selfish character, one dimensional, it's depending on what he wants. he will enact great good or great evil. And that is sort of what makes Edward Kenway so compelling, is that you get to see sort of a man whose moral compass is sort of like broken in a way. I like it a lot.
I also think you, Cullen, would like the supporting cast of characters a lot.
Oh, I
I
like
think
the
you
game.
would like Anne Bonny a load.
I've always been a Black Flag guy. I never go through the story, and I just go explore, and then I burn out like many Assassin's Creed like to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I gotta go back to it on Switch, because that Switch port's actually really good.
wait, it's on Switch?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't know. See, okay, because I came here and my laptop can't like run shit, so I've basically just been playing mobile games, which I'll jump into because I actually need Cullen to walk me through some shit really quick.
I'll translate the Gundamese.
Yeah. So I've been playing it on PlayStation 5, and it's really good on PlayStation 5. But that means that I'm limited to the PlayStation 5 because I tried to play Black Flag on the 16-hour flight to Germany, but you have to log into Uplay before you play it. And guess what I can't do on the plane?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Once again,
I feel like I'm only going to be... go ahead.
No, you're good.
I feel like I'm gonna be stuck playing this whenever I come to Europe, so it's gonna be my Europe game, and I'll maybe never finish it ever forever. So we'll see. But speaking of mobile games, I've started playing this Gundam Eternal game. It released like 4 days ago. You are a person going through the history of the Gundam series, and I have no idea what any of this actually is because my only experience with Gundam is 00, Wing, and Iron-Blooded Orphans. So I had no... So we talked about this a little bit earlier while Jesus was having PC problems, but I basically mentioned Quattro Bajeena, and Cullen told me that that's just Char.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's just Char. In Zeta, going like in a disguise, being like, I'm not Char Aznable, but Char Aznable's pretty cool.
Quote
if
unquote,
I were to know him.
disguise.
Yeah, he put sunglasses on. He's like, Camille, have I ever told you of a man named Char Aznable? He was really cool. I heard he was shredded. He had an 8-pack.
What? Is that seriously what he fucking does?
Watch Zeta to find out.
There is a scene where Char
Let's just say I am Char Aznable.
Bajeena, he goes, let us assume, theoretically, that I am Char. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Char
you are
is like 90% of the reason why you should watch Zeta.
It's
and
very
the other
fun.
90% is Camille.
Yeah. Camille is
That's
like honestly probably the most compelling character in the UC almost, I would say.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Is Camille in the new game?
Good.
Yeah, so actually, okay, so I'm like, Cullen, you should play this, but I'm also like, Cullen, I don't know if you like this, but like,
I'm installing it now.
Basically, oh god, okay, I'm gonna add you as a friend so I can give you my Gundams. Okay, I know you're not gonna reroll because your first. Okay, I'm gonna explain the mechanics first so Cullen understands that he can reroll as many times as he wants, but. Basically, you boot the game up, it gives you all the tutorials and everything, and it explains that whenever you play through a specific Gundam narrative, you're always given the core cast. For example, I'm literally autoing through Wing right now, and it gave me Troa and Quatra. I don't fucking... Ketra. I don't remember his name right now. This is like the one series that I like paid attention to. I don't remember the name right now, but like... after you do your initial tutorial, it teaches you about like... support actions and everything, and you get your G-Quux girl. You can... Sorry, is it Cux or Quux?
I think it's Quux.
It's Quux? Okay. You can basically re-roll your first roll as many times as you want, but it will always give you Exia first.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Cullen's just going to hit the finalize on that, but no, you can re-roll until you get a better roll. Not saying Exia is bad. Exia is really good. But you want to get as many SRs as you can, because if not, then you're just like kind of fucked, because this game deals in artificial difficulty. I don't know how many mobile games you guys have played, but whenever anything's like recommended power level 30k and you're like 40k, you're not going to be able to clear the mission very well. Have any of you played Ever Crisis?
A little bit of it, but like so little of it where like I got to the gotcha stuff of it and I went, this is really bad, I'm out.
Okay, then you wouldn't really know the power level shit, but it's kind of annoying. But at least you can like build your own Gundams and stuff. But yeah, basically, so I just got through Zeta, and it made me use Camille like the entire time, and I think Quattro Bajeena at some point. Sorry, Jake is laughing every time I say this.
That's just the guy.
He's got 4 of them, Jake. He's got 4 Bajeenas.
It's fine.
What are Bajeenas?
Him. Him.
Quattro Bajeena.
Tomino started making up names because he thought they weren't paying attention to what he was sending them, and they weren't. And he got confirmation of that when they were like, great, Quattro Bajeena, print it.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
I don't know if it was exactly Quattro Bajeena. I think it might have just been something from like some other dumb name from the original 0079.
It was like everything.
Or Muramasa.
Who?
There's a character named For Muramasa.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Yeah. She's fun.
So right now I can scout characters such as Hammond Karn,
Haman,
Blue Torch, For Muramasa, Dunkel Coop. Sorry, I love these. I'm not like laughing because it's funny. I'm just like, I fucking love this. I just think it's so good.
There's 2 ways of naming things that I love. There's Die Hard Men, the Kojima approach of what's this guy's gimmick? Oh, he doesn't die. And every so often he has to kill himself to like resuscitate himself. What's his name? Die Hard Men. Okay. Hey, Tomino, what character did you come up with? Oh, it's this. What's their name? Floodlight Paper Cut. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's his name. It's like, oh, great, awesome. You just looked around your room, huh? Yes, that's literally what I did. Aren't your bosses gonna get mad at you? They don't look at anything I send them. It's like, okay, whatever.
I found an old Twitter called Tomino Names. Let me read out some of these. Beltorchica Irma, El Viano, Shara Soon, Kitchman, Peggy Lee, Rue Luca, Kozan Graham, Fraubo.
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 Bicha
I got
Oleg.
Fraubo as an ultra rare support, but she's dog shit. So.
Yeah. Sayla Mass. White.
What?
White.
His name's just White.
White. Kate Bush. Let's Kofan.
Wait, no, you're lying. You're lying.
That's
Kate Bush
just the name
Gundam?
of a singer.
Dava Balo. Maneva Lao Zabi. I'm still, let's see. Degwin Soto Zabi.
Degwin. Yo, man, what's up? How you doing? Hey, man, my name's GC. What's your name? My name's
Shayla
Degwin.
Glass. Cancer Kefka.
You know what this reminds me of? So there's this Instagram video that I always send Jake, and it's a bunch of Australians making up names for Americans, and it's like, my name's Doug Diggle, and I'm from downtown. What is it? My name's was it Killer? What, can you come here and say this? It's such a fucking funny name. It was like,
hey, my name is that's Hunter Missile Jr. to you.
Hunter Missile.
I'm from Lockheed Martin.
It's just, this is what this reminds me of, and I actually love this. So maybe I should be watching more Gundam.
Shri Climb.
It's very beautiful. Gundam.
Drosy Mua.
Shri Climb?
Hebe
No, you're lying.
Gettle.
Shri Climb is not real.
Keen Keats. Grandma Moai. I could do this the whole podcast.
There's so many funny names.
I'm still scrolling.
This is our April Fool's episode, actually, where Cullen just reads Tomino names.
Death Spider.
Oh my god.
Yazan Gable.
It really is. It really is. Tomino's naming scheme. It really is like. It really is the naming scheme of what do I name this character? Tarlin Veen Tarlin Veen, that's his name. And it's just someone like just putting letters together. That's it. That's
He's
Winston
run out of names
Gaybridge.
for all of his original characters.
So the gotcha game is the gotcha game.
Yes.
Cool.
And it's like a strategy RPG. It's tile based. Cullen and I were talking about it a little bit too. It's definitely no Disgaea.
When I saw the screenshot, I thought it was a Super Robot Wars game.
I mean, SD Gundam and Super Robot Wars are basically the same kind of game. Fans of either might get mad at that, but like you're
telling the truth.
They're kind of just trying to do the same thing, but that one's like, okay, but let's just use our own characters. And like there's some aesthetic changes.
Mm-hmm.
I would say GC, give it a shot so you can be appalled at how bad some of the systems are. Just for that reason. I think you're gonna drop it really fast, Cullen, but I think you're gonna get the dopamine hit of being able to scout Quattro Bajeena.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like to roll for my Blorbos and then not actually engage with the game itself and then drop it like every other gacha.
For those of you that all enjoy gacha, I have a recommendation. Instead of rolling
go outside.
Well, yes, but instead of rolling for your PNGs, you can just Google those images and download them to your computer. And then you have
I just
them.
need to tell you that Char Aznable gave me a character request, so I can become a friend of Char Aznable as a title if I do all of his character requests.
I just feel,
and I don't know if I want to do that.
I feel like this is being catfished by a fictional character. You know what I mean?
By Char Aznable.
Yeah, like I feel like Char is like catfishing. I feel like when gacha games have like this system of like, oh, you can like get to know the character and they'll talk directly to you. It's like, I know that's not them though. I know that's like a writer who wrote them to say those things. So I feel like I'm getting catfished.
Char is real.
Except I'm falling for like the world's worst catfish, because it's like if you were on a dating app and you saw a picture of a screenshot of Char Aznable and went, whoa, Char Aznable real? And like started talking to that person. You know, like it's just.
Did you hear about the story of somebody that got catfished by someone using Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 5
that goes crazy.
as their fucking avatar?
Do you want to join my Outer Haven girl? Just send me $100,000.
Okay, honestly, Cullen, that was one of your fucking best posts of all time.
I really think that we should all make a content island called Zanzibar Land.
Zanzibar Land. Is that actually an MGS5? Is it called Zanzibar Land?
No, I think Zanzibar Land's from the game, old Metal Gears, but they got Mother Base over at Outer Haven and just a big content island floating out into the waves.
Yeah, we should do that. And I can't believe you assigned yourself Huey, GC. That's really fucked up.
Yeah, I would never admit to that.
It's fine.
But someone had to.
I'm gonna drown myself in a pool, whatever. So like
after your like son fucks your wife, like that's the craziest part.
I know. I'm just imagining you going to like you go to Magfest and you start crouch sprinting towards content creators you recognize and you Fulton them out of the National Harbor. And you get like me on a walkie-talkie and I'm like, really the fucking drama channel guy? I guess, man. And like I like over and out. I'm just commenting on the people you're Fultoning.
Oh God.
Yeah, I guess we could find a space for Wayne. Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh my God.
But Gundam. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's kind of fascinating. I think I'm gonna keep playing it until I get like trays, and then I'll stop because that's kind of like my endpoint. But it is really interesting to see how they more or less like adapt these mobile suits into like, I wouldn't say characters, but into units in the game and then accompanying characters. Because I have this one character that's like part of my roster because only super, super rare characters, by the way, actually come bundled with their mobile suits.
Oh.
So you also have to roll for pilots or scout them, or your mobile suit's fucking empty and you can't use it, which really sucks. And I don't like that mechanic, and it makes me not like this game very much. But seeing Quattro Bajeena say eat this and then like score a multi-kill feels really cool.
Yeah.
If there's any part of this that you actually do like, you should like on our Steam family, we have a SD Gundam G Genesis, which is just a console version of this without any of the gacha.
Yeah.
Oh.
You might dig that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also looking at the Tallgeese 2 that I bought Jake that's like sitting there like unopened because he hasn't had the time to make it. But you know, I hope he doesn't have the same horror story that GC did making his Zoids.
I don't want to. I'm never buying a unofficial model kit ever again. Well, maybe not ever again, but like
Wait, it was unofficial? You bought an unofficial model kit?
So
wow, GC bought contraband Zoids.
My
and
hobby
then got
store,
punished.
the hobby store that I used to go to sells. I don't go to it now because I'm too far away, but they sell a lot of Zoids kits, and I was their number one customer and their only customer for Zoids kits. So the guy who we ended up becoming friends with started like buying more Zoids kits, and then he bought a third-party Zoid kit, or rather, I think he said something like, "Oh, this actually came in the shipment like on accident. Like we didn't actually order this, but they gave it to us." So he put it up for sale, and I was like, "That's a big dinosaur. I kind of want a big dinosaur because it came in like a crate. It didn't come in like a Gunpla box. It came in like a fucking crate." So I was like, "Yeah, you know." The one this is based off of, the official one this is based off of, is no longer in print and won't be until like next year. At the time that I bought it, I was like, I'm gonna grab this one. So I grabbed it, and then I moved. So I didn't have like, you know, I had it in storage. So 2 years go by, and I unpack the damn thing, and I go, you know what, I gotta finish this shit because I only had the body done. So I started working on it, and then I find out in the diagram they printed the instructions wrong. The diagram shows a specific piece. If you don't build model kits, all the pieces are labeled with a letter and a number. And they labeled visually distinct pieces as the same number. So same letter and number. So I built it following the directions, and I ended up with 2 left legs. I took it apart, follow the directions again, because obviously if that turns out, the first thing you should do is go, oh, I messed up. Right? I'm not going to assume the instructions are wrong. So I reassembled it. I followed the instructions again. 2 left legs again. Fuck. Okay. I disassemble the whole thing again. All the legs again. I reassemble them. 2 left legs. What the fuck? I look at the diagram and it's incorrect. It's incorrect. There's no piece that orients the way that the piece on the diagram was showing. So I had to like look at all the pieces I had and go, there is a way to make a right leg here. I just have to like reverse the placement of one of the pieces to create that leg. So I did that, put it all together, got a right leg, and then I started doing decals and stuff. And the water slide decals were really fun. I had a good time with that. A lot of them like crumbled. If you want to go look at it, it's on Blue Sky. It's like a big raptor dinosaur thing. The name of the dinosaur is Berserk Führer. Because in Zoid,
Berserk Führer?
Yeah.
Unfortunate name.
Sorry, Jake just turned and looked at me as though
Sorry, Jake. Then it's based off of I believe that is based off of the actual Zoid name called the Genosaur, which is just genocide dinosaur, because in Zoids, the bad guys Zoids, or the bad guys that pilot the bad Zoids and make the bad Zoids or find the bad Zoids, are an allegory for fascists. So the Nazis are the bad guys in the Zoids universe, if I remember right. So yeah, so I built that. It looks cool. We'll probably try to stick to official model kits from now on. Because wow, what a pain in the ass. I bought a bunch of accessories, but I'll talk about that next episode when I go back to building more kits and stuff. Yeah.
Well, model kits and Gundams, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
Started
you.
to,
Yep.
I was gonna say I've been building out some more model kits lately. I got back into that. I got
What are you building?
I bought the G-Quux like main kit. But that thing's like really tiny and like very complicated, and so I was kind of just like, I'll come back to this later.
Is it a
I
high
got them.
grade?
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
they pretty much just put out high grades now, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know,
What are high grades?
it's the not considering like entry grade. It's basically like the lowest level of a like Gunpla grade for
Okay.
these.
So when you called me a bastard for getting Jake a master grade, I understand what that means now.
Yeah. It's high grade is like the baseline, entry grade is below baseline, master grade is above baseline, and perfect grades are above that, and then real grades are like in between master and perfect grades, but they're sized like high grades, but they have, and then all of those, like as you go higher, the detail on them gets more, uh you get more detail out of them. So yeah.
But
So were you building a high grade then,
I
Cullen?
I had one I was building. It was like, again, it's the G-Quux one, which is like fine. And then I started building a I have two master grades I got to work on right now. One of them is a like it's entirely like gold plated. It's the Fennex for anyone anyone at home who knows Gundam. Basically it's just like a golden unicorn Gundam. But like I wanted to start building it, but it's that kind of like gold plating on it where I'm like, oh, if I touch this with my hands, it's just gonna smudge the whole thing. So I gotta wear gloves. So then like the model kit becomes like, oh, this is kind of like a job. I gotta follow OSHA and like to, you know, build this model kit.
Health and safety is coming over tomorrow to make sure I can build my model kit at home.
They're gonna complain about my smudges. No. But yeah, I've been building a couple like model kits here and there. Yesterday we watched I had a little model kit party and we all just put on the Digimon movies. I don't got that like fire in me as I did earlier in the podcast to hate on Digimon the movie, but oh fucking Digimon the movie's terrible. They butchered that shit.
Yeah.
They fucking murdered those like OVAs. It's crazy.
Yeah, for context, the Digimon movie that we got in America is like 3 different movies crammed together.
And an Anaconda
Yeah,
special.
Jake is like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that you guys got that." Cuz they didn't get that in Germany.
Which is what's cool though is we like just last year I think, or maybe like 2 years ago, we got a like Discotech, who's been putting out the modern Digimon Blu-ray releases, did a redub of all of the original OVAs that make up Digimon the movie, like a faithful dub with the original cast. And
oh my god, really?
Yeah. If you buy the Discotech release of like the Digimon movie collection, it's the OVAs, all which, you know, officially subtitled, but also have the like a brand new dub for all of them. That are all despite all those actors being like 50 now, they still kill it. Like you would not be able to tell, like, unless you really listen for it, that those actors are like older now. But yeah, so you can watch the 3 original movies, and if you really want to, you can watch the American version, which is what it calls. And as someone who's just started really getting into Digimon to prepare for Time Stranger, which comes out later in the year, that I watched that American movie as a kid, and I liked it because I didn't know. And now I'm looking at like all the changes that was made to the original Digimon series, like in that like original run, back when like Haim Saban did it, and it's just like, oh, this is like, y'all like butchered this series. It's crazy. Like all the music's gutted, all of like they just rewrite shit on a whim to make it quirky and like more jokey than it was. It's just like
Haim
just gross.
Saban. There are episodes of the Digimon series that literally leave on cliffhangers because Haim Saban wrote them in as a cliffhanger.
Wait, what?
Yeah. There is I don't know if Cullen's gotten to this episode yet, but there is an episode entirely devoted to Lovecraftian horror, featuring Cthulhu at I believe at the very end, because there are Digimon that worship some sort of thing in the sea, and they are trying to drag one of the Digimon, the Digidestined, into the ocean, for her to be like a sacrifice to Cthulhu. And it's revealed at the end of the episode, I think, that it's Cthulhu, or like at some point the episode is about that. In the American version of that episode, Cthulhu shows up at the very end, and the narrator goes, "What is this new evil the Digidestined will have to wrestle with?" But that episode in the original release is just like a one-off situation involving Cthulhu. But for the American release, they wrote it as though it was like a brand new villain that was being introduced into the show. And then the next episode starts. And since that doesn't go anywhere in the original version, because why would it? It wasn't supposed to. You just never get that resolved in the American version. They just reveal that Cthulhu was there, and they tell you, oh, he's going to be like a new danger. Watch out. And then he never is. And they never talk about it again. And you're just supposed to just, forget about it.
I'm currently watching, because a friend let me borrow because they put out 2 different Blu-rays. They put out one with the dub and one with the sub, like separately, because of all of the changes they made with the dub. It basically just became a different show. Like, you can't just use 2 different audio tracks for that.
Nope.
The footage, the pace of the footage and everything is just too different.
Everything's like edited. Everything is heavily edited in the American version.
And this is only for the American version, right?
Yeah.
So if I watch this in German, it would be different.
Yes.
Is there a German dub of Digimon?
Yes.
There sure is.
That's cool.
Oh my god. So the German Digimon opening is something Germans sing on New Year's.
That's interesting. Wait, so
same with have you heard the German Naruto opening?
Oh yeah.
Sakura's beautiful.
That's peak.
Yes.
That's peak.
Yeah, that is. I didn't know about these things until I came here.
Naruto, I'm on my way.
Naruto will be okay.
I'm looking up the. Oh, thank God. I think German still got the actual like Digimon opening song, Butterfly.
Okay. Sorry, when you say butterfly, I think of Butterfly City.
Butterfly City? Superfly City?
Superfly City.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm shitty.
I'm trying to make sure that like this isn't just like a fan dub, but it seems like they actually like the German Digimon opening is actually just like they sing over the original like opening, which is great. That's ideal. And we got this dumb like Digimon, digital monster, Digimon or the champion.
That's a free brainworm.
No, but it sucks.
Change
So I'm actually wondering.
Champions.
I'm actually wondering why this happens with American anime so much.
It's Haim Saban's fault.
We could,
you can trace it. You can always trace it back to 4Kids. Pretty much.
Wait, is this a 4Kids thing?
No, Haim Saban's different than 4Kids, but they're both bad.
Yeah, they both suck. I thought they were like the same entity overall.
No, it's just they probably picked up a lot of their bad habits from Haim Saban.
I believe
Kazuma, have you seen
also owns Power Rangers?
Yes, yes, he
Power
does.
Rangers.
Have you seen the Japanese opening for Digimon?
Yeah.
Butterfly, it's great. It's fucking awesome and just gone from the American version, but apparently there's like just a German version of that song, and it's just like fucking. That's like what. Oh, the way Digimon was handled in the West. Like finding out about it now while I'm on my Digimon arc, I'm just like, oh, this sucks.
Have you played Digimon World, by the way, the PS1 version?
I have not. No.
I think you would actually. Okay. I recommend this to you because I love you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Please know that I think you should play it. I think you would have a lot of fun because it's really obtuse because it was translated so badly.
What if my Tamagotchi breathe fire?
I'm actually wanting to give the modern world games a shot because they apparently like to all play off of Digimon World 1. But like, you know, just with a bit more modern kind of mechanics. Like Next Order seems pretty cool, and they have a like PSP 3DS one with art by the the Devil Survivor guy.
Okay, I haven't played that one, but I'll check that one out because I actually really like Digimon. I liked it a lot better than Pokemon when I was growing up, and that was because I really, really, really liked Garurumon because I was one of the wolf. You know, like when you're in like school and it's like, is there a horse girl, a wolf boy? I was a wolf boy, so I really just liked a giant blue wolf.
I think fucking I'm watching I'm watching Digimon right now and I'm like, wow, it's crazy how much like better television this is than Pokemon was for kids.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like
it was so good.
I just think like I think like they were sort of serving the same audience but at different age groups. The age groups were really close, but like yeah.
Well, and I think that's what made Digimon kind of like catch on to people because people like not in that like kind of slightly older age group like younger kids still watch Digimon and they got to see a show that was like really cool and didn't talk down to them as much. And I think it was really smart that the way Digimon decided to grow with the times was to just like acknowledge that their fans grew up.
Yes.
And so all of the modern like Digimon games, for example, they're all like geared towards like teenagers because they're like kids will still find the stuff if they want it, but we're not going to sit here and make like games for like the idea of like forever kids, like grown ass men who want to recapture their youth by playing these Pokemon games. No, we're going to make some cool ass, weird ass, less budgety RPGs. And it's kind of just commendable.
I agree.
You just reminded me of the end of the original because you've seen the end of Digimon, right? Like the first season?
No, I'm watching it for the first time.
Oh my god, okay, because like I'm not gonna spoil it for you then. Just know that it's really melancholic.
Yeah. I grew up with I watched Digimon the movie, like we rented it from like a Blockbuster back in the day, and I caught a couple episodes of like the original Digimon on TV, but I actually got in with Tamers and Frontier. Like that's kind of when Digimon hit me as a kid because I was about at that age for like that stuff, and I played like some of the games as a kid. But yeah, no, this is like the first time I'm actually doing the original Digimon Adventure, and it's like there's like you gotta like accept that like you are watching a show made for kids, but like it's just good television. It's just fun, and those OVAs are great.
I also think like, so was Tamers the one that had the thing? This is so weird where like the cherry blossoms were blooming from, no, it wasn't the blooming from the kid's head. Was it the one where they fuse with their Digimon?
That's Frontier. I think they do fuse with their Digimon a little bit in Tamers, but like Frontier is the whole one where they literally like turn into the Digimon.
Yeah, they don't have Digimon themselves. They turn into them.
Okay, because I remember the ones you watched, Cullen, actually being pretty dark, apparently.
Yeah, Tamers is like it was made by the Lane guy, and it shows. And Frontier is I think I heard Frontier also can get kind of like dark. I don't remember much about it. I just remember it being like, because as a kid I was like, it's cool they turn into the Digimon. I want to turn into the Digimon. Whoa, this is awesome television. And that's all I got in my memory.
I just need to let you know Jake has a picture of Terriermon on his monitor right now, and he's like slowly running his hand over it.
Fucking, I was reminded yesterday that Terriermon was like introduced in that OVA 02 Hurricane Touchdown, the one that they butchered the most in the movie. And we were just like, we just put on all the OVAs back to back to back. And like, you know, my girlfriend was there. She was like, passively watching the first two. Terriermon shows up in O2 and she like locks in. She's like, I love Terriermon. I didn't know he was going to be here. And I'm like, yeah, it's Terriermon. The oomph. I fucking love Terriermon.
The voice they give that little baby in English because he just sounds like a plush toy that's given life.
Y'all should watch the dubs of the new dubs of those OVAs because like the Terriermon voice they got like I think they got the original actor back and it's like, oh, that's Terriermon, like back from the dub back in the day. Not missing a beat. Digimon's pretty cool.
I don't want to circle back around to Gundam, but I do need to tell you that the pilot that I was talking about, her name is Karta Issue, and GC, why don't you take it away and
I don't know.
something else?
Oh, you want me to? Okay, you want me to just go off on stuff that? Okay,
yeah, just fucking go.
See, Karta Issue though, I will say that's not a Tomino name. That's a fake like a lot of Gundam names after Tomino stopped touching. I was like, oh, we can make quirky names.
Would you call it a Fomino name?
Honestly, yes. That's actually a great way to like that. That's the perfect way to describe it. Where some people's like, oh, Gundam's just weird names, right? And it's just like, get out of here. You don't got that.
What is Karta Issue? Like, who is she even? Like, what is she from?
She's from Iron Blooded Orphans.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't remember her because that was just like a really miserable series to watch.
Yeah, kind of is. If we can't kill innocent children, what if we killed guilty ones instead? Real quote.
Yeah.
Real Iron Blooded Orphans quote.
Oh.
Speaking of orphans, let's talk about Blueprints.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Blueprints is a puzzle game that has recently come out. It is very similar to traditional old school puzzle games such as Myst, but it has roguelike elements in it. And I beat it in a couple days. Not all of it. I'm still working through stuff. But I hit credits for the first time, we'll say, in about 36 hours. That game's really, really, really good. It is completely dense with puzzles. The roguelike elements, I think, really help in sort of directing the player. Because a lot of times with like puzzle games, you can get very overwhelmed. That's how I feel when I play Myst. When I play Myst and I can basically go anywhere I want and I run into all these puzzles that I don't have any idea what to do, like I get overstimulated really fast and overwhelmed. And when that happens, I'm like, I need to stop playing this. Because like I can't fucking focus and I don't know where to do. I get like option paralysis, right? So I just go. I just kind of like turned away from it. The roguelike elements of Blueprints really alleviate a lot of those issues because rather than being a game where it's like, I'm going to go do this puzzle right now, the game is structured in a way where hints for other puzzles are in different rooms of the house. And you are solving a mystery and solving puzzles by repeatedly doing runs. And rather than try to like get this specific thing done on your runs, you kind of like run into puzzles you can solve on the run you're doing. And I know that's really weird. I know it's like a little difficult to parse, but basically it's like the goal of the game is you go into a house, right? You've inherited a mansion, but in order to claim it, you have to reach room 46. There are 45 rooms in the mansion, and your uncle says, go find room 46, a room that I've never told anyone about. You go into the entrance hall. There's 3 doors. You click on a door. You can draft a room. You basically draw from a deck of rooms, and you pick one. It's because it's sort of like a deck building game in that regard. And the room you pick will be constructed on the other side of the door. Those rooms have exits to other rooms. You open those doors and you do the same thing. You draft a set of rooms. Each room does a different thing. A lot of rooms have different kinds of puzzles in them. And the game is structured really well where there are multiple layers of puzzles occurring at every given time. So you go in and you like pull up a certain set of rooms and you realize, oh, I can combine what I have here to solve a puzzle, or, oh, I can get some more information from like a room I haven't been to yet, or this and that. So you take a lot of notes, and then eventually things start coming together, whatever. It's just a very good puzzle game with a very good story, very good world building. It's kind of incredible how they sort of flesh out an entire like globe of like countries and political turmoil and histories, and sort of like there is a conversation on like fascism and stuff like that in the game.
Oh, interesting. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, and like it does a really good job of like showing you like how easy it is to just believe a certain thing, and then like learning other stuff as you go through the game. You kind of like uncover more information, and you're learning more about the guy that left you the mansion, your uncle, and like as you play through the game, you learn about like your mother, and like sort of like there's sort of like this understanding that the person you're playing as knows a lot of this stuff, but you, the player, don't. And so like you're picking up notes that have been left behind. And like everyone's in on this like challenge of the behavior of the manor and like what your uncle is challenging you to do. So like you have to like, you have to like parse information. You have to like deduce what's a lie and what isn't, what's a red herring, where you're being led astray. The whole thing really does culminate in a very good puzzle experience that for some people I fear is too slow of a burn, or isn't what they want out of like a puzzle game, which is I want to feel smart, and I want to feel smart really fast.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've seen a lot of people get the wrong kind of pitches of this. Like when I was seeing people complain about it, and they were saying the things that they were told, it was like, I noticed Mist was not in any of that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you were sold the wrong kind of boat, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are saying it's like Obra Dinn, but it's like really nothing like Obra Dinn.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like, that's the crazy thing. I saw Obra Dinn pop up a lot, and I'm like, where are you getting this from? Who said this was like Obra Dinn? This is nothing like Obra Dinn.
It is so fundamentally, I mean, both are puzzle games, and like they may share like some, and they may share some minor similarities in terms of like, I don't know, like how you're putting together the puzzles and stuff, but a far cry away from the stuff you do in that game.
This is also like not exactly their fault, but it's a bit of an issue of Myst being so unrepresented in the genre it basically kicked off now. Yes. Like Myst, like in the first person puzzle like genre, which I guess is really a thing. Like not a lot of people play Myst, which is crazy because they've remade this thing on every fucking platform ever. But like not a lot of people have played Myst.
Nope.
Isn't it like one of the most formative puzzle games of all time?
Yes. It
is the puzzle game of all time.
It's such a weird, like interesting thing with Myst itself, because Myst was when it came out, it was the best-selling PC game ever made. And it just kind of hasn't had a
resurgence.
It hasn't really had a real strong lasting legacy.
Longevity.
It's inspired a lot, but a lot of people don't know that because a lot of people just haven't played it.
Isn't Riven a Myst game, like the sequel?
Yeah, and Riven's fucking even better. Riven's awesome. I love Riven. But
I watched you play one of these, Cullen.
It might have been Riven.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was probably Riven.
It was either Riven or the new one they made.
Oh yeah, they did. Like and that's the crazy thing. The company that made Myst is still making games. They are very like they are basically an indie studio now, but they are still doing their best to just keep making stuff. So it's weird. Like, cause I don't even think that Blueprint is like a 1-to-1, like one-to-one inspiration of Myst, but it's clear that there is some Myst DNA in here in like how you go about exploring and like the kind of like
they literally have a red and blue
puzzles.
They literally have like a red and blue motif.
Yeah.
Like it's so obviously like inspired by Myst from that.
But I've been playing a bit of Blueprints myself, not as much as GC because I haven't had the time. It's fantastic. Like I think this is a really clever way to blend those two kinds of genres together, like roguelite and first person puzzle.
Mhm.
that, and I feel like a lot of people aren't really getting kind of that, like how cool this whole premise is. Because a lot of people are just saying like, oh, well, I did a bunch of runs and I didn't get any progress. And it's like, well, so it's roguelike. Like,
or like maybe you did make progress, you just didn't like solve the puzzle. Like if you find information, that's progress in this kind of game,
Mhm.
right? Like progress is
Also
not
watching you,
completion.
GC, yeah, also watching you play GC, progress in that game is not linear.
No, it's
No.
not. You are solving many other things, and you are making little bits of progress by learning more things
and
about
that's
many
the
little
missed
things.
parts. It's really
Yes.
cool. Like, it's people are really thinking to make progress is to make it to the end. And it's like, no, like, yeah, that's your ultimate goal. But they kind of sprinkle a lot of different smaller ideas around here, whether it's like you could be doing this. It's like, oh, hey, I found some garage keys, but I don't know how to get to the garage. Maybe in this next run, I'll go figure out the garage. And in the process of that, you'll maybe see like a little sprinkling of something else, like a hint of another thing you could be figuring out.
Yes.
Like there's so many small little puzzles here and there outside of like the room puzzles themselves where you could go like, okay, so for this run, I'm going to stay on the whole, like the left side of the house. And I'm just going to do that until I get what I need. And then like, minor spoilers, I guess, but just kind of get people like to understand what what we're talking about here. I dedicated like a run just to getting to the garage. And as soon as I did that with the keys I needed, I unlocked it. And then it turns out like, not only did I find a little bit more about the story itself, but I unlocked like a whole extra part of the, like the grounds to like go explore, which allowed me to get like a permanent buff to my, like all future runs. And it's things like that where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a lot, like small little things you can do that just by exploring and going out of your way and trying new things, like you can just help your overall run. And it's like, are people just like staying in the house and trying the same kind of combinations again and again? Like it's definitely fascinating because obviously like yeah, this game isn't gonna like work for everyone, but it seems like a lot of people are just not even willing to really engage with it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, right, Cullen? Like people are trying to basically force the game with the same combinations over and over again and like not even realizing that they can maybe leave the house. Like it literally wasn't until I saw GC leave the house that I was like, oh, I can leave the house. That makes sense with the shovel, for example, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely I've played a little bit. It's not a game for me, but it's a game that I love watching people play. Like there was one, I think 2 nights where Jake and I were like, GC, can you play some Blueprints? Because we just enjoyed watching it so much.
Yeah. And I think the defining factor here, and I don't want to insult anybody who doesn't like the game or whatever. I think curiosity plays a big factor in games like this. And if you do not play games for the curiosity of it, okay, if you do not like investigating things, if you like playing games to beat them, or if you like playing games to feel a sense of accomplishment or skill, I don't think Blueprints is going to be something you like, because Blueprints is not about that. Blueprints is not about those things. It is about asking yourself questions and being invested in like the setting that it's created, and
Mm-hmm.
finding information about it and then using that information to solve puzzles. But the majority of the game is just about that investigation. It is about that curiosity. Solving a puzzle feels really good in Blueprints, but 9 times out of 10, it just leads to another mystery.
Mhm.
And that is because the mystery is the point. I was saying this earlier when I was playing it the other day. I said, I'm going to be really sad when there isn't anything new to learn in the game, and I'm just going to have to solve puzzles, because the last thing I want to do in Blueprints is solve the puzzle. I just want to be given more mystery, and I'm wrestling with that.
You have got to play Myst after this. I think you're ready. I genuinely think you are ready now.
I might play the version that has like 3D walking, because like the point and click nature of the original Myst is like part of what really overwhelmed me before.
I think I'd argue the 3D walking might be more overwhelming, because now you don't know the spots that the the developers want you to actually look at.
Yeah.
But I don't think there are a lot of different versions of Myst. I struggle to say any of them are really bad. But they all are very different. My favorite is still the original. But I love old pre-renders and stuff. But just as long as you're playing Myst, I think that's all that really matters.
Yeah. So Blueprint's really good. I gave it a 10 out of 10 on my media thread. I loved it.
That's my praise.
I don't
even
think
with those
what?
Even with that arithmetic puzzles.
Yeah, I'm just bad at arithmetic, honestly. It actually once you know how to do the puzzle, it's easy. I hate math.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
yeah, I guess that's a problem, but it's not enough for me to
I feel that though
from the game. I think I just fucking hate math on a fundamental level.
That's fair. I don't hate the arithmetic puzzles and because there's two puzzles that repeat themselves but just get more complex.
Yeah,
it's just yeah, it's puzzles where you just have to do a bunch of math, and puzzles where you have 3 boxes and at least one lies and one tells the truth, and you have to find gems in them. Where it's just this again and again and again and again every run. That's a bit tedious, but ultimately what the game is doing outside of that is so compelling that it's I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Also, I don't think for the billiards room, I haven't discovered anything for the billiards room, but you can do something to make the parlor game a little easier.
That's cool.
In a way. Yeah, I call those puzzles the witness puzzles because I don't know if I don't know how the devs feel about The Witness, the game by Jonathan Blow, but
wait, is that the braid guy?
Yeah. So I don't like The Witness because it's you walk to another variation of the same fucking puzzle you've been doing for the last however long, and I fucking can't stand that, because to me that's not interesting, because you're not actually you've made a decent base for a puzzle, but then you're giving me 100 of them, but you're making me play hide and seek with them. I fucking hate The Witness. But it's really funny that Blueprints basically does the same structure of puzzle as The Witness, and then just dedicates 2 rooms to them and has all the variations in those rooms. And it's to me, it's a fuck The Witness, man. We could do that. We did it. It's 2% of our game. Here are some real puzzles and real riddles to solve. And we're not gonna and here's an actual story with themes and shit, and not just you unlock a room with a TV and then you turn it on and a guy just talks to you about things he thinks about. I fucking hate The Witness. Anyway,
isn't Jonathan Blow a hack?
Yeah.
Fucking hack.
Sucks.
He sucks. God damn it. I can't. I'm not gonna. I also played the new RuneScape game. It's a survival. So
yeah,
RuneScape, idle game where you move around to do stuff. It is one of the most famous MMOs in the world. I love RuneScape. It is just very much idle game mechanics, but you walk around. If you like RuneScape, but you don't want to actively participate and you wish you could just sort of automate RuneScape, go play Melvor Idle. It's sponsored by Jagex now. So it basically is it literally is RuneScape without the 3D movement, which may or may not break it for you. So RuneScape is a famous MMO. Valheim is a survival crafting game made using inspired by RuneScape, at least I think, because visually it looks like RuneScape, at least 2009 RuneScape. Mechanically, it shares many similarities with RuneScape for the skill crafting and stuff. And RuneScape Dragon Wilds is RuneScape inspired by Valheim. So it's sort of this full circle moment for these 2 games that are now bouncing off each other in interesting ways. Dragon Wilds is a cool survival crafting game. It has Valheim building rules where you have to make sure things are structurally sound, but it's a little more forgiving. The thing that stands out about it is, one, I kind of dig like the world building that they're doing. I'm surprised because I thought Jagex wouldn't be capable of that, but they are apparently. And they have a spell system that introduces a lot of quality of life to the survival crafting genre. And it also has some of the best building UI and mechanics in any survival crafting game. It truly feels like an update to those ideas where like in Ark Survival Evolved, you could snap pieces together, but like the information you were given made that really difficult and really annoying. Whereas like fast forward to RuneScape Dragon Wilds and you have like a ghost mode where you can like plan out your entire building without using any materials, and it'll tell you if it's structurally sound or not. And then you can go out and get the materials, and the blueprint you made will just stay there. And then you can come back and just snap pieces in with materials. Like you just hit a button and it'll build it. Super convenient. I'm working on a house. I'm probably going to stream it on Monday and do more of that.
God, yes.
I'm adding like a balcony, and I'm expanding like a part of the first floor, and I'm trying to lay down a foundation. I'm doing like stupid carpentry shit in a game that's not about that, but yeah, that was cool. And yeah, I think on how long is this recording?
2 hours.
My Adobe's all fucked up, so
Yeah.
The other thing I played and finished was The Outer Worlds.
Yeah, you were like going hard on that for a while.
I was really back and forth on whether I liked the game or not, because I wasn't sure if I forget his name, Leonard Boyarsky and Tim Kaine, the guys that made the original Fallout or led development on the original Fallout and wrote the original Fallout. They used to be Interplay. They made The Outer Worlds. And I was kind of back and forth because I was like, this seems like somebody described it to me as the most liberal TM game they've ever played, which is to say like it's left leaning, but overall it's still very like obsessed with like capitalism.
Cowardly?
And like doesn't want to divide itself from capitalism and stuff like that. Like a little cowardly, yeah. So I was like really wrestling it, and that's how I felt at the start, because it has one of the worst first impressions in a game ever. Because like decisions are kind of weird, and like I'm not really happy, and like the way they've portrayed certain characters makes me feel like I'm, it feels like in order to do what I feel is right, I have to like side with people who are sort of like doing things for their own petty selfish reasons. And I don't want to go too far into it because I've already talked about it enough on my media thread, but I think ultimately I don't think people understood what The Outer Worlds was actually doing to their brains. I think people were too dumb for The Outer Worlds, because at the end of The Outer Worlds, I ultimately did the things that I felt were right, even if I felt really like weird about it in some cases. Like I had a vision, I had an like a sort of like an idea of like what could actually help the place. The premise is that you live, you're recovered from stasis way longer than you were supposed to be in, and like the colony you were supposed to help settle is now like a corporate hellscape of dystopia.
Isn't it like what if McDonald's owned a planet?
Yeah, it's basically what if Megacorps basically owned people, in other words. And because everyone there is like an indentured servant, and then that's inherited by their kids and so on and so forth. So like it's all fucked up. And I genuinely thought it was like using the setting, but not really understanding what that setting represented. The Outer Worlds is a litmus test for whether or not you can fall for propaganda. And it is very good because it proves that no one is immune to propaganda. Because at the end of the game, I got my endings, and I was pretty satisfied with my endings. I was pretty happy with it, right? And then I looked up the other endings if you don't do the things that I did. And there is more or less only one way people can come out of. There's only one way that entire like colony can come out of that situation better off. And the only way to do that is if you see through the bullshit that the game has intentionally left there for you to fall for. So earlier when I talked about the Outer Worlds, I was like, it's weird because like all the corporate people are also like, you know, well-meaning and they care about their people and this and that. And like, and the people in charge aren't like completely like ignorant. Like they actually know and like they're trying to come up with solutions and like ultimately like the reason that they and like they start trying to like justify what they're doing and like you almost start to believe that shit. And then if you don't fall for any of it, it's like, yeah, everything turns out for the better. And it's like, this entire time, the me questioning what this game was doing was because I smelled bullshit, but the game is intentionally structured in such a way to trick players into siding with corporate like domineering with capitalism. With unregulated, like everything from like the interface being sponsored by one of the companies in the game to like being constantly inundated with advertisements to like meeting corporate people who seem well-meaning and logical and like, you know, empathetic versus people who want change to happen who are like somewhat crazed or petty or selfish or angry. And like you realize it's like, oh my God, like you're playing the game and the game is actively trying to trick you into believing the bad guys. Like it's actively trying to like condition you with the diegetic propaganda that is in its setting. This game is so much more intelligent, is written so much more competently than it seems at face value because it is so committed to the bit that you as a player are falling for it. And if you manage to not fall for it at the end, if you manage to draw the line, depending on where you drew the line while you were playing is the outcome you get. So if you don't believe any of the bullshit ever and you resist it at every step of the way, right? Things turn out for the best.
Mm-hmm.
If you realize a little late and you've already made decisions that you can't take back, the outcome at the end is not as good. So it is literally showing you, like the endings of the game are literally just showing you like, hey, here's how well you did resisting propaganda. The game's excellent. I ended it on such a high note. The DLCs really do a lot to strengthen that idea without giving it away. And they do give you reasons to remind you of like things you should be upset about when it comes to like certain characters and certain factions in the game. I think without those DLCs, I would not have sort of like grasped more of what this game was doing. I think the DLCs are super important to that experience. If you're going to play the Outer Worlds, play the DLC. They become available at like the midpoint of the game. I would recommend you do Byzantium first. You'll know that when you play it. Do Byzantium first and then go do the DLCs and then go finish the game. You won't have much to do after that anyway. Really great, really awesome. Some problems with like level progression and stuff, but that gets into like nitty-gritty details that aren't important. Great game. Super good. I'm sorry I doubted you, Leonard Boyakovsky or fuck whatever your name is. I'm so sorry.
Well, isn't this the team that originally made Fallout?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mentioned that
specifically
earlier.
New Vegas as well, right?
I don't know if they did. I don't know if they did.
No,
New
that's
Vegas.
Obsidian.
Yeah, but they might have worked at they work at Obsidian now. So Leonard,
Obsidian made Outer Worlds.
Yeah. So Interplay became the people that were in Interplay.
I'm confusing them with Troika, the people that branched off to make Troika.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I'm sorry I doubted the minds that created one of the most compelling anti-establishment settings known to popular mainstream video games. Now y'all killed it.
GC, something I also know you've seen, because I joined a call when you were in the middle of watching it. They put out a couple days ago some Outer Worlds 2 gameplay.
Yes.
What do you think about what you've seen so far? Because I only played the first like planet of Outer Worlds and I thought it was fine. But like,
Outer Worlds
Is
2
there
looks
anything-
like a more polished version of Outer Worlds 1, and I didn't get to see like the progression systems in that, but that's literally the only problem with the Outer Worlds 1 is that you hit level cap too soon and skills are a little wonky and perks aren't that interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
But Outer Worlds 2, like, I mean, Avowed was really good from what I hear. So I feel like they've I think Josh Sawyer, is that his name? He works at Obsidian now, and like
Yeah.
he's been doing the gameplay systems, I think, or sort of like in charge of that. And I think that's improved a lot of like their output lately. Because I do think Josh Sawyer like has a good head for design, mechanical design stuff. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful. Outer Worlds 2 looks really good. It'll be interesting to see where they go based on the ending to the Outer Worlds 1.
From what I heard, Outer Worlds 2 is kind of just also meant to be its own thing.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
that's what
I'm
I
sure
mean.
it'll tie in some way.
Yeah, I think like the cool thing about the world of Outer Worlds is that they don't really say it, but there's like you're not the only colony that left Earth to do stuff.
Okay.
And Earth is still like a thing. Like it's not like everyone left Earth. Like Earth is still like its own place. So I'm very interested to know if we're going to another colony or if we're going to Earth or if they're ever even going to touch that. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. I'm excited. They've earned my purchase. They've earned my attention. Outer Worlds 1 is excellent.
I'm really glad you played this because basically everything I heard from like anyone that played this game or reviewed it felt totally opposite, but I know your opinion is one that I can trust. So now I'm actually interested in playing this because before I was like, oh, okay, it's probably just like a really surface level like commentary and whatever. But you explaining all of this, I'm like, okay, I see. So a lot of people that played this, it sort of went over their head. And no offense to any of those people, but it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is worth giving another shot.
It is. Its only crime is that it is not obvious about it, which makes it effective because that is the point. And that's why that first opening area is so like, if you are somebody who, you know, is already kind of like, you know, corporate capitalist bullshit is bullshit. And you get to that area and you're given the choices that you're given. You're like, I don't know about this game. I don't know. This is like, this ain't right. And like, is it asking me to question what I think that way? And like, that is intentional. You are supposed to feel that way. You are supposed to be like confused because you are actively resisting the thing it's trying to do to you, and it wants you to resist it. It is testing you. That whole game is a test. That whole game is a test. I love it.
I love that.
Mad respect. Mad respect. Oh man. Yeah. Just incredible stuff. I would actually like, I might revisit the Outer Worlds, the first game at some point, maybe play the Spacer's Choice edition just to see and to not have a level cap. And then just kind of like fuck around in it, make a silly build and see what happens. I want to kill everybody. You can kill everybody in that game. Yeah, and you can still get an ending.
Okay, so,
All right,
it's
Cullen.
it's a true Obsidian game.
Yeah. You can kill everybody
Cullen,
and
do
the
you go
only
in
two
and kill everyone?
Huh?
I mean, I'll reload afterwards, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just want
I
to
just
go
had
a
to ask
little
if
ape.
Cullen kills everyone, okay?
Sometimes you just gotta go a little ape shit. Like you'll see a character say something really dumb in their dialogue tree, and you go like, you end the conversation as quickly as possible, and then you unload a couple rounds into them, and then you reload your save. There's like you just got it out of your system.
Yeah. So you can kill everyone in the Outer Worlds because the only two characters you need to end the game, you cannot actually like gain access to until the end of the game, if that makes sense. So like everyone else can die. It literally doesn't matter. There's also an ending where if your intelligence attribute is low enough, you can fly your ship into the sun.
What?
Yeah, so there's like a moment where you have to like do like a skip, like a warp skip to like a different part of the system. And usually when you do that, your ship computer does it, like your ship AI does it or whatever. And like if you have below average intelligence, right, you can go, hey, I'm going to do it instead. You don't do it, I'll do it. And the ship goes, this is a terrible idea. The AI goes, this is a horrible idea. And if you have like a high enough science skill and a high enough intelligence rating, you can go, I know what I'm doing, and you can do it successfully. But there is a secret option if you have because there's actually a playthrough you can do where you have below average intelligence and it unlocks new like dialogue, and you're just sort of like an idiot. Like you're like a parody of like a space captain, right? Like an incompetent space captain. So like if you have below average intelligence, you can insist on doing it yourself, force the controls away from the AI, program your warp skip, and shoot the ship directly into the sun. And that ends the game. That is an achievement you can get. It is an ending. It counts as an ending to the game. Speedrunners do it. It's great.
This game sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, I like I said, it is almost nefarious how like successful the Outer Worlds is at doing what it is. I made a judgment call way too early, but also like that meant the game succeeded. The fact that like I was like questioning what the game was doing was the point of the game. And not to like make me doubt my ideals. It was to show me how easily I can be led astray from those ideals. It's great. Great.
I think the reason I didn't really get too into it is I didn't really care for like most of the cast. Like they just didn't like I just wasn't interested in it. But like what like the moral choices and the dilemmas, I thought all those were actually pretty neat. So I hope 2 just kind of builds off what works.
Yeah. I hope they get the narrative designer for the DLCs back, because they are also the narrative designer and writer for the Outer Wilds.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, the writer for one of the writers or the narrative designer for the Outer Wilds was brought on to do DLC for the Outer Worlds, and the DLC is some of the best written stuff in that game. It's great. It is fantastic. I loved it.
Cullen, doesn't Cullen like the Outer Wilds?
Outer Wilds is great. I still got to do the DLC for that, but no, that game's fantastic.
Yep. Good stuff. Very good pedigree from that person. Honestly, like what a resume. Success. Yeah. So I hope they are back on for Outer Worlds 2. I really hope. Anyway, yeah, other than that, I played another game. I don't want to get into it. I played Promise Mascot Agency. It gave me a really terrible first impression because it had a character design that I think is not very good, because I think it is a problematic character design that ultimately undermines what they were trying to do.
I'll say it so people don't come at you for it. I think it's dog shit as a character design.
Yeah. And but
I can get the pass by saying that, but I feel like people won't give you the pass. So I'll just say it how it is. Like, it's a pretty fucking shitty design. It leans into a lot of tropes. It actually doesn't need to. And when you were saying on stream that this character could have just been a very mundane person, I agree. They should have just been a very normal person in a very abnormal place.
Yeah. And like the frustrating thing about it is the game is like that character is actually written really well. Like the character does not, it's not played up for laughs. They never talk about the character's design. They never like bring it up. And like visually there seems to be some sort of incongruency where like the character's in a gimp suit. It's a queer character in a gimp suit. And you know, that is adhering to certain tropes or misconceptions of queer people. I did some digging. I looked into it. I wanted to make sure, I wanted to know where it was coming from, because there is a tendency for people who want to be supportive who end up not understanding certain things, and they end up being harmful despite the best intentions. And I wanted to see where intentions were, because that really changes things, in my opinion. I think intent really does change things, especially because the way that I want to react to something, right, changes depending on the intent. Because if someone has good intent, but they do something that is counterproductive to that, then I can speak to them in a way that they will listen. Right? Like I know that this person is willing to communicate, and I know that this person is capable of doing better. Whereas if I know that there is a large amount of ignorance in the way someone does something and there is no intent to be better about it and there is no intent to be inclusive and it's being played up as a joke or being used for a laugh or being done in a way that I can tell is sort of like mean spirited in a way, then my reaction to that is going to be more intense. It's going to be angrier. It's going to be more scolding, more aggressive, because in that situation, the conversation cannot happen until that person is sort of held accountable for what they're doing. Because you hold someone accountable in respect to the way they are doing the thing that they are doing, right? If somebody, if it seems like if it seems like somebody can learn something, then you should go about it in a way that ensures they have the opportunity to show you that they are capable of learning. If somebody does something repetitively and has a pattern of behavior and continues to do things, then we cannot expect them to change this time around, but they still need to be held accountable for it. So whatever. So I looked into it, and like the studio is actually pretty cool. First of all, it's a very small studio, very small despite appearances, because Promise Mascot Agency is huge. That game is big, very big compared to like the team that made it. I went through the credits, and there are a lot of this. There's like 2 or 3 names that show up in a lot of places, like everywhere. So it's basically like it's a very small team. And they were very like, they got put on the they could put it on the anti-DEI games list, like the one that like the list that like tells people if a game is woke or not. And they made a tweet that was like, "We're very happy to announce that we have been labeled not recommended by the anti-woke crowd on this list," or whatever. And so like I had an idea, so I was gaining an idea of like, okay. And then over time, as I played the game, it turned out to be like, it turned out to not really like rely on the things that I thought it was going to rely on, which is sort of like the Japanese aesthetic, the Showa era Japanese aesthetic of media. I thought it was going to be sort of like this very like ignorant sort of stereotype pastiche of the setting. It was not. The game spends a lot of time talking about a lot of different things and putting its foot down about certain things. It has its heart in the right place, and it writes it well, and it very much is like on the money about stuff. It talks about idol culture, entertainment culture. It talks about like online harassment. It talks about like corruption in our government and like businesses, how like, people will do things to get around things, and it sort of like navigates these things in like, not in like a super nuanced way, but in a way that's like pretty satisfying, I think. The game is fun. A lot of quality of life stuff gets introduced as you need it. Exploring that town feels really good. It really creates like a really good aesthetic and setting. It sort of goes, it's sort of really like, the way I put it is that it redefines what that aesthetic represents in a lot of ways, where like it loves the visual language of those things, and it loves the visual like look of those things, but it very much tries to separate itself from some of the regressive views of that era. And the only problem it has is that it doesn't completely skin the animal. So like it really divides itself from a lot of things, except for, that one character design, and for the thing that it does, which is your main character is an ex-Yakuza voiced by
whose tattoos are drawn incorrectly, by the way. I need to say that.
His tattoos are drawn incorrectly.
Yeah, sorry. That was like I was like looking at it, and I was like, this is wrong anyways.
He's an ex-Yakuza voiced by Takio Kuroda, the voice of Kazuma Kiryu. And it is in the story, it tries to like poo-poo the Yakuza a lot. Like in a lot of places, it really does criticize the Yakuza as an organization, but because it's sort of confused about its main character, where like you play as an ex-Yakuza, very recently excommunicated, a bad guy who has done bad things. And over the course of the game, it tries to like rehabilitate his image by like telling you, oh yeah, but my family only did illegal gambling. We never like killed anybody, and like our protection money scam, we never hurt anybody who couldn't pay. We just kind of left them alone and protected them anyway. You know, we never actually like,
That's so annoying.
yeah, we never like gave any. So like it talks bad about the Yakuza as it should. It criticizes the Yakuza as it should. But like whenever it's about the Yakuza in regards to like your main character, it's like, oh, you know, but he's one of the good ones. And it's like, there is no such thing. Unfortunately.
Yeah, like the game could have been a lot more effective if he was in fact like, yeah, I'm just like cleaning up because I've done a lot of really shitty stuff. Maybe they don't want to play it too close to Yakuza because obviously like the game at a surface level does invoke a lot of things you would associate with Yakuza, like the absurdism, Kuroda voicing the main character, it being about the Yakuza, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's what I think a lot of what the Western audience associates with the series. And maybe they were trying to avoid that, but I think they just really should have committed to this guy being a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
And
because
he just changes, and that's part of his fucking character growth.
yeah, and that's what I was hoping for, and like that's what I was like, not necessarily like looking forward to, but like I felt like that would have been more fitting for what they did. I don't think what they did was, to be clear, I don't think the story they told was bad, but I do think like you've unintentionally sort of like really like you were trying. It really seems like they were trying to like criticize this thing that people have this misconception of, but like needed to also make a sympathetic character, and sort of had a misunderstanding of like, you like the character is sympathetic as long as like we follow along and he is currently doing things that we think he should do, right? Like when you watch a Martin Scorsese, when you watch The Godfather, right? When you watch the fucking Godfather, what is it? The one with Al Pacino in it, and like you're watching Al Pacino's character do the things he does, like you kind of see, like you see the humanity in him, and you watch that sort of like erode, but you also sort of like feel sympathetic towards him because you're in that world, right? Like Martin Scorsese, when he does a movie about bad guys, you kind of root for the bad guys in a weird way, but not because you think they're good guys, just because like
they're good characters.
Yeah, he's pulled you into that world, right? So like you feel like you're part of the fucking mafia when you're watching the mafia movie. So like what the character does, you're not sitting there going, I don't think he should have done that. You're like, well, he's in the mafia, you know, like that's just how it is. All right, fucking, if you don't like it, you can get out. And like, you know, at the end of the movie, like you come out with a fedora and a mustache.
I kind of feel like I'm seeing this a bit more and more. A lot of writers are afraid to give their characters flaws because they're afraid of like any like people dropping media because of any kind of like friction like that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
And it's like we gotta like just have like protagonists who kind of suck. Like there needs to just be more of that. Yeah. Especially when you're going to deal with like organized crime.
Cause like they're not, it's a fictional character. It's like, I like him. Like, I don't need him to be a good guy cause he's not real. I don't know him personally. Like I don't need characters to embody the things I care about in that way. And also like it provides more nuance. Cause I do believe that based on where I grew up and like the people I knew growing up, like I know for a fact that there's good people who end up in bad places and end up doing bad things and getting involved in bad shit because for a lot of people that's their option. That's what they feel is their only option. So like you can see that that sort of like complexity in real human beings. So it's okay if you have like a bad guy who's like killed people and now he's running this like funny mascot agency, but like he wants people to like achieve their true dreams and like he has like these really ambitious ideals because those things can coexist inside a person, right? Like you can meet thugs and people involved in crime who meet you and go, man, you know what, man? Like, you know, you gotta go to school, bro. Like you gotta achieve your dreams. Like, what do you want to do I used to work with a guy. He was a dishwasher. A lot of times coked out of his mind, as many dishwashers are in the restaurant business. And he was like, he used to call me Gigi. He was like, Gigi, Gigi, what do you like? What were you in school for? And I was like, oh, computer science. He's like, damn, that's pretty good. This guy was an ex gangbanger. So like this guy was like,
Okay.
this guy would tell me stories of how he had like guns in people's mouths. And I believed him. You take one look at this guy and you're like, yeah, I believe you. And he looked at me and was like, Gigi, man, like we became really good friends. He was like, I want to see you succeed, bro. He was like, if you need anything, he was like, if you need a body in the ground, you let me know. If you need, if someone's giving you trouble, you let me know. If you need money, a ride, anything, bro, anything, you let me know. He was like, don't become like me, man. Like, and you, when you meet people like that and you get to know people like that, it's like you learn like the complexities of human beings, and you learn that like a lot of folks like that, like they hold on to their dreams. They want to see other people succeed. Some of them don't want people to do the things they do. Like I would wager a lot of them don't want people to do the things they do because they don't see it that way. They don't see it as like something to be proud of. They see it as a necessity that they, they chose, like that's the way a lot of them see it. So like, it's cool to have characters that sort of embody that are like, yeah, I care about other people. I want people to like have a good time and be, feel good around me. And like, I want to do right by people. Right. Like I do bad things and that might make me a bad person, but wherever I can, I want to do something good. I do bad things because out of necessity or out of circumstance. I don't do bad things because I'm a bad person per se. And like, that's sort of like way more interesting to me than like constantly telling me that the character I'm following isn't really that bad of a guy. Like he's not as bad as the other ones. It's like, that's okay. It's okay if he's as bad as the other ones. He's doing good things now.
He's covered in tattoos and covered in scars. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like having a quesadilla right now. Delicious.
So like aside from those two things, I really did enjoy the game. I think the game is really good and has some pretty fun conversations. I don't think it's groundbreaking or game changing in what it talks about.
I don't think it's as good as people are saying it is. That's the thing.
Well, I think it's very aggressively in favor of a lot of things that I think people should be in favor of. And it's been a while since I've played a game where the character, the voice of reason, is like an angry, violent, like cartoon character. And I think we need more of that. I think we need more unapologetically, aggressively outspoken things, even if it gets a couple. I think that's the weird part, right? Like it's so aggressively unapologetic about so many things, and then it's like really struggling to like be a little apologetic about some things, or like really like sort of missing the step in like a couple areas. And it's like, I think that's the part that confuses me, but like ultimately I really, 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 really liked that game. Very good.
I mean, good games can have uneven writing, right?
Yeah.
I have my reservations about this. I see it is popping off a lot in like Japanese gaming circles, but I'm a tough nut to crack, and everyone knows that I'm a hater. So
I will say,
I'll probably actually never play it.
I will say everybody who's like treated, I'll say like people that are talking about this need to stop saying to other people that it's like a wacky, zany story and setting and kind of like a weird game. Because it's not really. Like the premise is actually very well realized and the world is very well built. So like what you expect to just be like a really super ironic video game is actually not that. It is not irony poisoned. It is very sincere about a lot of things. It just has like the Mascot characters aren't people in suits. They are real, and they are real creatures. That's it. That's the only zany part of it. Everything else is actually fairly like grounded. I would say like after the first like 3 hours of that game, like it's just like a very nice little story about stuff. I liked it a lot. I talked to the dev on Blue Sky. They were very
cool.
They were very receptive to the criticisms that I levied at them.
We love that.
Yeah, they were like,
you know what? Maybe I will give this game a chance.
Yeah, they were like, hey, I'm taking everything you said and I'm putting it in our feedback thing. Because we really want to do better about that. They were like, we're really sorry that like that design didn't land. We really were coming at it from like a good place because we wanted sort of what they said was like we wanted the bar that Mama-san works at, that this character works at, to be a BDSM bar with the idea that the characters that go there become open to their pain instead of like pushing it away or hiding from it. And that was like the dynamic they wanted to go for. I don't think they nailed it because the bar doesn't look like a BDSM bar, so like that gets lost in the
That seems
translation.
like that's a bizarre thing to say given the way that bar looks.
Yeah, and I was
but
like, I didn't want to like argue that because like I'm sure their intent was that, but then they couldn't like execute on it for whatever reason. But yeah, like they seem open to the criticism, so you know, good on them. I would recommend it to people who want to play a game that feels like it was made in the PS2 era, because that's what it is. It is a PS2 era as game. It's great. I loved it. Had a good time.
That's good.
That was me. That's everything that
Yeah.
I've done in the last like month that we haven't recorded.
Cool. Do we want to get some questions, or do we want to maybe do that on another episode? Because this has been a bit of a long one.
we can probably do it on another episode just because like I'm not in the country and I'll take that bullet. The audience can shoot me and riddle me with them. That's totally fine. We should just do an episode that's entirely questions because we have so many
That would be
questions.
fun, actually.
We got a bit of a backlog, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can do that next time or something when I'm back. When am I gonna be back? When am I gonna be back in the country? Yeah. I'll
Next
be back
Sunday.
in the country when we record
Yeah.
next time. Yeah.
Cool.
So things will be normal then. All right. I guess we're wrapping it up then. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week. You know where to find us, and if you don't, well, I don't know how you
Start
found
looking.
us, but stick around. Yeah?
No, it's
Get
like, if you
looking.
don't know where to find us, start looking.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Peace out, dogs.